good morning, good evening, good afternoon. As long as it's all good, we want to welcome you to the only place to be in suburban Etobicoke, the House That's Happened. Sponsored by Shuey's Bar and Grill, as we know, the greatest dive bar in the GTA. And we do come here because we keep the vibe alive. Hi, my name is Cruz.
And I'm Andrew Milani.
And we've got a guest here today, and his name is?
Peter.
We just want to give a big shout out to the crew that came in here yesterday and rescued Chewies from a rather unfortunate incident, which is probably taking away from the population coming in here for a few days, correct?
Yeah, they're saying that the bar should hopefully be opened up again in a couple weeks, so we'll hope for the best. Yeah. Peter, you can hold it just kind of like this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
In any event, we're shouting out to Serge and Sanu. We're still here in the house because we support the place at all times. Right. Good luck to getting the place back on the ground because we love being here. You know, another thing is we start this week, speaking about good, bad, and ugly, everyone knows that I have certain loves that I don't like the word fan. I am a disciple. And in case you don't know, I'm going to remind you, I'm a fan of the University of Michigan. And I just want to shout out to those people that just banned Jim Harbaugh for the last 3 games of the season. Eat my shorts. Okay, I don't know. You guys heard about what was going on? Mm-hmm. The sign stealing, probably the guy that worked in the Army was in the sidelines. They find out the guy at Purdue's doing this. The thing about this is I'm going to tell this, and in the great words of Michael Wilbon, if you live in a glass house, do not throw stones. So yeah. I'm of the belief that if this affects Michigan's, you know what I think tomorrow? I'm going out to bet the spread. Like if they're favored to beat Penn State by 10, I'm going to double my BET bet because the Michigan boys are going to go out and sodomize those Nittany Lions because supporting Mr. Harbaugh. Go Blue tomorrow. How you guys doing? Welcome here, Peter.
Thank you, guys. It's great to be here again. Been in a while, but I'm really happy to be along with you guys talking.
I'm not
sports.
sure if I'm happy with it yet, but we'll get there. You know what I mean? Like we just might as well, drop the puck.
We did have a few disagreements just before the show. So
it's all good. It's all good. That's what makes it fun. You know what I'm saying, Andrew? How's your week going?
Pretty good. So I actually have something to bring up that kind of relates to. So you're wearing a jersey from a canceled hockey movie, right? So
and everybody look at my jersey.
It's a beautiful jersey.
It's kind of neat, eh?
We'll take a picture and then we'll put it up with the promo.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah.
What's the name of the team?
Steelheads.
Cruz's Chaos Steelheads.
Steelheads. Oh wow, that's great. Okay.
Yeah, it's got the fish there on the shoulder pads.
Yeah, it's and they were. It was going to be a Canadian production. That's all I know, and that's enough time we'll spend on it. But it's kind of interesting to wear. And every time I put it out, people go, "Where'd you get that? Yeah. What team did you play for?" Oh, by the way, I skate on my ankles.
So, anyways, Cruz, me and you are both. I don't know if you're a fan of Looney Tunes, Peter.
Yeah, definitely. I grew up with that.
Me and Cruz are big Looney Tunes people.
Me too.
So. I don't know if you know this, but there was a Wile E. Coyote movie that was in development.
Oh, okay.
So it was going to be Coyote versus Acme. The whole plot was going to be him suing Acme for all these
for all these incidents.
Yeah.
For all these
incidents, that's amazing.
So,
what happened?
So the movie was completely filmed. John Cena, I believe, was going to be the lawyer for Acme, which I just think is hilarious.
Yeah, that would have been great.
So it was filmed. A lot of it was animated. They're canning the movie.
Oh,
really?
Boo.
Why?
They haven't said, but it was strange because it was supposedly testing extremely well.
Oh, of course.
Apparently, like the ending had people in tears, like it was emotional.
Yeah.
So I'm really bummed out about this.
I
was really looking forward to it.
But you know what? With Looney Tunes, there's so much now political correctness with what happened in the past. Maybe there's something like that. I don't know.
We don't worry about that here because we're not necessarily we are righteous but not always politically correct. But I'm going to say this. You knew that would affect me because I'm a huge Looney Tune guy.
I love Looney Tunes.
I would want to know who was the guy that came up with the concept. Like, why didn't I think of that? I've always seen the memes. Remember when the ones where he was drunk because what happens when he's done when he caught the Roadrunner? What happened to the Coyote? He became a drunk and a bum. He had nothing to do. Whatever. That was good. But suing Acme.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Oh, that's off the
So
charts.
I know James Gunn, who did the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, he was a writer and a producer on it. So I don't know if it was his concept or he came on later as a writer, but he was involved, and I'm a big fan of his as well.
Well, just think about the references, and one of my favorite ones, and this is how big that Looney Tunes has permeated society, is like one of my favorite lines is in, what's the movie where Bruce Willis and them are flying to blow up the asteroid? Armageddon, okay? And Steve Buscemi is the guy in there, and the guy's putting a formula on the wall, and Buscemi says, this kind of looks like the stuff that the Coyote used to do
Yeah,
with
right.
the Acme products. It
Yeah,
didn't work for
yeah.
the Coyote. I don't know if this is going to work with us. You know, in a number of other movies I've
Yeah.
seen, you know, like Coyote's epic. He's an epic character.
But one of my favorite things from that, because I've just been watching a lot of them on YouTube, is this sort of autobiographical cartoon that is done about Bugs Bunny. Shows him as a baby.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
and then he's with the guys and. Or he's with, I don't know, maybe it's Daffy Duck and they're doing What's Up Doc. They're singing
Yeah.
it in a vaudeville style.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite, like, it's not so much fun, it's just love. That, like, certain of those cartoons just make you go back. When I was a kid, Global Television used to run Bugs Bunny at 6 o'clock in the afternoon just before Rocket Robin Hood. Because they'd run some
Worst
cartoons in the
cartoon
evening.
ever.
Oh, I love Rocket Robin Hood.
So did I, till I got older and went,
Yeah.
what was I watching?
I saw a show for the first time as a
It's
youngster,
a
and it
great
just
show.
creeped me out.
It's
Oh,
honestly.
it was bad.
No, it's a
so
great
bad.
show. Come on, it's Canadian content.
I
So
don't want to
anyway,
say about the Canadian part, but
there's a Bugs Bunny is going along in a car, and Roadrunners come along, beep, 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 and they smash into each other. When I was 5 years old, I think one day I hurt myself laughing at that. Because like, as a kid, that's just, you just remember, right?
it's just
Sure.
a reflection to
Yes.
me of how soft society gets because
Yes.
a lot of that times they hide Looney Tunes.
Yeah, they hide
just
them, yeah.
because they don't want
Yeah,
the
it's
kids
so
to be.
politic,
But they
yeah.
let everybody watch Sesame Street. But that's
Sure.
a whole
Oh,
nother
yeah,
story.
yeah.
Okay.
Cruise versus
Yeah, yeah.
Sesame Street.
Oh,
That's
that's
coming
co-
soon to the
that's-
house.
Or they let, or they
Yeah.
let, or they let their kids watch Futurama, which is
Oh no, Futurama's
I love
historically
Futurama.
correct.
yeah, but not
That's
for
good.
kids.
I don't know.
Not for
I
kids.
don't
I don't
know.
know.
Well, speaking of what's for
I know
kids,
I watched Futurama as a kid. I turned out okay.
yeah, that's what I said too. You know, and I watched Looney
okay.
Tunes.
One last thing about Looney Tunes. Fuck Space Jam. That's an awful movie.
No, that's garbage.
Yes,
I don't like any
yes,
of that
yes.
stuff.
Especially I only seen parts of LeBron's. In the
Oh, that
remake.
looked even worse.
No, that
That's
was
what I'm
garbage. No, but you know what was a good basketball thing that was cartoon was the old 1970 to 71 Harlem Globetrotters cartoon done by Hanna-Barbera. You never saw that.
No,
But they
no,
had
no.
but
Oh, that
they
was
had this
amazing, and I
good
think
music. You remember that music?
It was Herbie Hancock, I think.
Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum.
Yeah,
Globetrotters.
but I think it was Herbie Hancock or Quincy Jones. I'm gonna
Yeah.
look that up tonight because the soundtrack to that was badass.
It was awesome. It was
70s,
awesome.
70s funk.
Yeah,
on the back.
badass.
But thinking of funk and things that start with F, we should always go to the thing that we like the whole world to talk about. And Andrew, as I think I told you off the air, I was very proud to talk to people that went to a Montreal Grand Prix and looked at me and go, Cruz, how do you know so much about Formula One? When I told them about especially my allegiance to Mr. Max Verstappen.
Yeah, and he won
Yeah, he's
not
good.
only a race, but he won the sprint race as well in Brazil.
yes.
One of the best tracks in F1, Sao Paulo,
Yeah.
first of all.
I will agree with you because I watched a bunch of it. Like, even though I think you want to allude to that crash on the corner. Like, how did that happen off the race? Did that take Leclerc out?
Well, it wasn't even a crash. Just his power steering or like hydraulics just gave out on the formation lap.
Yeah, and boom.
That guy, worst luck in F1, man. I'm telling you.
It
Worst
wasn't
luck.
good. You know what I mean? But anyway, I want to continue to raise the banner for Max Verstappen. And I was telling people, and I've tried to explain to them, this is like a 60 home run season. This is like a 150 point NBA
Yeah.
season.
No, it's a great, yeah.
People should talk about that.
Yeah.
Good to Max. And you know what's interesting? When I was looking at the record today, if there was no Max, Perez could win this whole thing because he might be far enough ahead in the points driver's standing.
Well, I mean, if there was no Max, I feel like Red Bull would have still a better driver than Perez.
Well, I think he's going out the door. And one of the things that you notice that Mr. Daniel Ricciardo was on Jimmy Kimmel the other night.
Oh, he's Mr. Personality in F1.
Mr.
But I told you about the Alonso rumors, right? That
Yeah.
apparently they're going to do like a straight up trade, basically. That's the big rumor.
Really?
Yeah, because so
Alonso will drive for Red Bull?
Yeah, that's
I love that.
So there was a rumor that came out, and Alonso got pissed when he was asked about. So that kind of makes me think where there's smoke, there's fire. Because if it was fake, he probably would have just brushed it off, right?
Exactly.
So
So that leaves Ricciardo out of the picture?
yeah, I guess Ricardo would still be driving an AlphaTauri. Because I mean, who would you rather have? Let's be real.
Okay, I got. There's no doubt
Fernando
about
is just certified goated.
I think
Oh,
one of
yeah.
my
I
favorites.
think just briefly, I think that it's just a great surprise that Verstappen has come on like he has. I don't think anybody thought he would. People thought he'd probably win a couple, but to come on like he has been a fantastic story.
I don't know if I'd say it's a surprise. 'cause
I
the way he's
don't
been
think it'd
coming
be a
on the last
surprise.
few
No, but
seasons.
I mean- Yeah.
No, but I mean as well. I think to win one, But to win going away the way he has, I think that's
This record is like I'm saying. This is like a 60
that's what
home
I'm
run
saying. It's
season.
a
And all
great-
that. But here's the thing that I like about the mystique about Max Verstappen. This guy walked into the room and he made Kanye West look modest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This
He's got
guy
an
is,
attitude,
and so what? Who cares?
Yeah,
It's
sure.
not bragging. What is
Yeah,
the famous Kid
that's
Rock
right.
line? It
It's
ain't
not
bragging if
bragging
you're
if you
backing
can
up.
back it up, yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think that we should say there's still like, we won't spend long on it, but Mercedes and Ferrari are really in a battle for second place. There's only 2 races left, correct?
Yeah, and they're 20 points apart. And then
Yeah.
for the battle for fourth place, McLaren and Aston Martin are only 21 points apart. So some wide open battles heading into the final 2 races.
And isn't this a great season? Like after season that McLaren will be the team, Red Bull obviously because they'll be the championship. But the biggest climb or the brightest future looks like McLaren. Like it's really, really cool. And what's his name? I had buddies. Lando Norris and Alonso, both those guys. And how many podiums did he have? Like I think Norris has been on the podium. Like what is it? 5 of the last 7 races.
Let's see. He's been on podium. Yeah.
He's got a nice run.
5 of the last 6.
5 of the last
Wow.
6. Okay, that's
including
what I'm saying.
4 second places.
4 second places, and that's a McLaren car. Remember
well,
that?
they came in, what was it? I think it was in Singapore. They came in with some aerodynamic changes, and ever since then, they've just
taken
been,
off, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're anyways, I think that when we get to the end of the year, there'll be accolades that will be directed towards what I say, the highest competition in the world. What's
And,
that?
and you know what's coming next, right?
What's that?
The Vegas race.
Oh, I know. And
really?
did you see the
There's-
hype? That's why.
It's going to be a night race. It's going to be on 1 in the morning here.
Oh, wow.
So get ready for a late one, boys.
Oh, that's not like Saturday night, 1 in the morning?
Yeah.
Oh, that's prime time for me.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm
me too.
excited. I'll watch
You know
it.
what, though? I'm wondering about the passing situation. Like, there's going to be, like, when you look at the track so far it's laid out, there's going to be, like, I think it's going to be a fast track. But the gearing going down in the corner is going to be interesting how they're going to be able to maintain.
Yeah,
Especially after Brazil, because you were right. That's a cool track.
It's got the bank turns
Oh,
and yeah.
oh.
That was the track in 2008. I think that's the race that won Lewis Hamilton the championship that year. I was watching it in Brazil that year.
Yeah.
That was on Global Television,
Cool.
and he won that race that year.
And you know what? Lewis
Because I was
Hamilton is
there.
one of the greatest of all time,
Definitely.
but it's really a drag when you see him getting out of his car and his lips always dragging on the ground now. You know what I'm
really?
saying?
What's going on?
I don't know. I don't know the guy. I think he's a great driver. I just don't think he's getting to those. How many podiums has he gotten? I think Norris has gotten more than him.
Yeah, no,
well,
he's not the
one,
best this year by far. He's not the best.
He's got 6 podiums, so he's had a good season.
Yeah,
But I mean,
Oh,
that,
solid. But for him now, he's just
Yeah.
crying every day.
well, that
Yeah.
Mercedes car's kind of been
Yeah.
That's what they
up
say.
and down.
Yeah, he's not. but
And
you're
it's
not- you're not
interesting
always
when you
gonna do
hear
it.
the managers from Mercedes and the manager from Ferrari. After races, these guys are chewing nails and spitting flames.
Yeah.
Like they're not, like you
No,
hear them
they're not.
talk.
Oh,
Like they're
yeah.
polite in front of the camera, but I'm going, when that guy walks around the corner, I want to know what the F-bombs are flying and who they're screaming at the crew and who, you can visibly, and that's part of the whole shtick of Formula One. Like
Sure.
in any sport though, it's hard when they stick a camera in front of your face like that right after, something what happens. And I'm someone got a little bit pissed at me a couple days ago because they were talking about the other races, and I called NASCAR ghetto.
Yeah.
They were not impressed with me saying
But it
NASCAR
is-
was ghetto.
But it is confined mainly to one part of the United States, the southeastern part. There are
Yeah.
other races. There's one in Arizona, but Arizona is considered a western southern state, and so therefore,
Really?
oh, definitely. Well, Arizona people to have that sort of south.
No,
kinda
but yeah, but to your
attitude
point,
there,
like
yeah.
NASCAR's been having a lot of trouble in
Yeah.
Michigan. Like that race doesn't sell
No.
out like it used to.
no,
No,
that
it's
used to be
not-
one of the big, the Brickyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's
No,
not.
Brickyard is Indianapolis.
Is it,
Yeah.
where do they do
Yeah,
it? They- in
in
Plymouth, Michigan,
Indianapolis
isn't it?
is-
No, wherever
Yeah.
Michigan Speedway is. I don't know
Yeah,
what
that's-
city that's in.
yeah.
Yeah, that's because it's close to the
Yeah,
Ohio border.
that might be in Ann Arbor or something like that.
Yeah.
No,
but
it's,
yeah,
it's
not a-
closer the other way.
Anyways,
Closer the other way.
but yeah,
Congratulations to
That's
Max. I'm hoping
Yeah.
that Lando Norris
Yeah.
gets a couple of more podiums, and I really like the way that McLaren's going, and I think he'll be back with him next year, right?
Oh, Lando?
Lando.
He's on like a long-term deal, so he's going to be at McLaren for
For
the
a
next
while.
few years.
Yeah.
And
that's
just to add to what you were saying before is that NASCAR has a certain niche, and it will always have that niche, but nothing more than that. It will never have anything more than that
Okay.
because the culture doesn't. It just doesn't.
Okay, so that'll probably be, we'll give NASCAR the same representation we do the WNBA.
Sure.
Okay? We'll give them, we'll put
I
them
think
on
we
the
give the
system.
WNBA more time
I'm
than
okay,
NASCAR, to be
well,
honest.
okay, we'll give the WNBA a little bit more
aren't
time.
we going to have a WNBA team here in
No.
Toronto? No, it's not. I heard that there was
Next.
some
I heard
rumors.
Ted Rogers
Didn't
shut
you
that
get
down.
the
He shut that
message?
down, eh?
Okay, Peter, you're going to have to learn to listen.
Oh,
Did you hear what we said? That was more time. Like, we'll probably never
okay.
talk about NASCAR again.
Okay.
We will.
Nah.
Okay,
You know,
all right.
you never know.
The first half of the season, I usually get excited, but then if you're gonna ask me who's still alive
Nah, I
in the
don't-
NASCAR season,
When I hear the
I know how to
banjos going after the races, I get nervous.
once
That's all I
it's
gotta
football
say.
season, then there's something else
Done.
on Sundays
They're
in the
done.
afternoon, right?
But one of the reasons that we're here today and we brought Peter in here is because it would be remiss of us if we did not give insane respect to the best franchise currently operating in the city as not only that, defending champions and huge favorites to repeat as Grey Cup champions, and that's our Toronto Argonauts.
Yes.
So-
I think it's
I was gonna say, Peter, I know you're a big fan of the
Sure.
Argos. I
Big
imagine
fan.
you've been following them closely this
definitely very closely.
year. What's your, I guess, temperature of the game for tomorrow?
They're looking pretty good. I think they've got so much depth. They've got two quarterbacks who are A1 quarterbacks.
Yep.
Cameron Dukes is not as good as their top, but he's as good as Chad Kelly, but he's almost as good. I have met Chad Kelly. I've actually done a short video with him. He has the fire in his eyes. He has the eye of the tiger. And Winton McManus and these other guys on the team are really hungry. You know, they really want this. And I think with the depth at the receivers, like, you know, they have Devontae Coxey, and they've got DeVaris Daniels, and they've got Ungerer, and they've got Tommy Neal, and they've got so much. And as their running backs, they've got obviously
I like
AJ
their running
Ouellette.
game.
Yeah,
I like their
it is a
running
good
game.
running game.
Yep.
AJ Ouellette is playing very well. Also, the young African guy.
I can't even say his name, but he's
Adeboboye.
solid too, and he can
Adeboboye.
block. And
Yeah.
he can block.
And he can block.
Yeah,
and
I was watching.
also Andrew Harris is ready when need be. He hasn't played that much because he is, 35, 36, but he's ready to go. I personally love the guy, but I think he should retire after. I should retire definitely after the season because.
Well, I
he's
want to ask
taking
you
it out.
something because
Yeah.
you've been following the Argos a lot closer
Yes.
than I have. But I think one of the great things that happened to them this year is that they were such front runners that they had certain games where I don't want to call it load management. It's just that they were going to win anyway.
Yeah.
And speaking to the depth,
Yes.
what's his name stepped in at quarterback? The African
Cameron
guy
Dukes.
came in and
Yeah.
he played
That's right.
more. He had
Adeboboye.
more touches, like
Yes.
when they sat those guys down.
Right.
So, do you think it's possible that Alouettes are even going to show up for the game tomorrow?
They will. They're going to play pretty hard. I think the game against Hamilton, I thought, I have to admit, it was pretty lackluster. The Eastern and the Western semifinal were not as good games. The Eastern semifinal was even worse because, Hamilton just were not really prepared. They're not, and they made foolish decisions. Bo Levi-Mitchell should have been on right at the start of the third quarter, and they didn't bring him on, and so therefore you've got this quarterback who's struggling. They bring Bo Levi-Mitchell on with 6 minutes left, as if just to rub salt in the wound, just to insult the guy. I thought that was not very good because I think Bo Levi-Mitchell's been such a great player in this league. He's been two most outstanding players. He's won 2 Grey Cups with Calgary.
Yep.
He's been all-star in the West about 6 times. He's a phenomenal athlete, and I'll tell you something. He is more consistent statistically in those years he was in Calgary than Warren Moon was in Edmonton. I mean,
Okay,
he's
that's
one of
a
the
huge
great-
statement.
he's
So
one of the
I'm not going to go that far.
He is one of the great
Okay.
quarterbacks of all time.
Okay, great.
Phenomenal guy.
I should pay more attention to
Yeah.
the CFL, which I
Well,
don't. Let's be honest. But I just
Everybody has their things.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, and that's great coverage. I'm glad to hear that because I'm very impressed with the depth of the of the Argos to be able to sit guys down and not really have a fall down in standard.
right.
I'm interested in what's going to happen in the West game with the Lions and the Bombers that you go here.
That's
but
a
we'll
very
talk
good
about
idea.
that. We can talk about that later. We're Argos specific in
Sure.
this way. Is there a buzz in the city for the Argos right now?
I think there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think there is?
There is.
I mean,
BMO is sold out, isn't it? Or just
it
about?
was-
25,000. There's going to be 25,000 tomorrow.
I mean, we
And
were
hopefully-
buying tickets like a few weeks ago. Like it was already almost sold out. So
Well, that's a good thing. I'm just worrying more because I have noticed because we are North American centric in the Big Four and so to
Sure.
speak. But I have noticed in the last week, like on the sports nets, the TSNs,
Yeah.
some of the other programs, that they're actually talking about the Argos. And I'm just saying, are they the best franchise in the city? Are they the best run franchise, or is it
think-
because
I
they're the
say so.
CFL? Because it's
I
weaker?
think so. No, I think so because you see the thing is, it is like in the NFL, it is easier once you have a good team to keep a good team and to have 7 or 8 good seasons, even if you don't win.
How much NFL do you watch?
I watch quite a bit. No, but I'll explain myself.
Because I don't
I'll
completely
explain
agree with that.
myself.
Because
I
NFL
don't either.
salary
But
cap.
let me explain.
It's easier
When
in the
you-
CFL to keep players,
No,
by the way.
no,
Yes, it
no,
is,
no,
because
it's
you have
not.
the import rules and all that.
let
But
me-
go ahead.
Let me explain. In the National Football League, you only play your division every single year, right? The conference, the other teams in the conference, you rotate and you play them once every 2 years. So if you're the Buffalo Bills, you'll play the San Diego Chargers once every 2 or 3 years or whatever
Yeah,
it
every
is,
3
right?
years, yeah.
You don't play if you're a great team in the AFC like Buffalo was. You
Are.
don't play. You don't play. You don't play the NFC team. You play them on a rotation, which is like 5 years, sometimes even 10 to 15 years.
No, it doesn't go that far. No.
Maybe it doesn't go that
It
far.
only
every
goes
4
3
years.
years
But you
because
don't play. Yeah. Right.
Okay, so if you understand it, okay, if I'm the
Yeah.
Detroit Lions, this
Right.
year I play the NFC.
Right.
We're playing the NFC South, aren't we? Or no, or I think we're playing the Denver division because we play Kansas
West.
City, the West.
Yeah.
So we're playing the West. So next year we'll play the East and that
Right.
rotation.
Right.
And then everybody plays each other twice in their own division.
Right.
When they
Yes,
added a game, they did
definitely.
cross-conference.
Yes.
So I'm going to push back on your argument
that's
here
fine.
in this way.
Go ahead.
Is that you don't know the quality of the football team until the season starts.
That's
and
true.
one of the things that has happened, if you want to look at the scheduling, is they project that the New York Jets and so Buffalo Bills are going to be a great game,
yeah.
and now they suck.
Yeah.
And now they still got them slotted into the games,
Yeah.
but that's the gamble of
That's
the
the
NFL
gamble, yeah.
because the matrix is already made, and
Yes.
I can live with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Plus in the
everybody.
NFL too, you have games based on how you did last year. Where you're playing the
Exactly.
other
So they
first-place
balance the
teams.
schedule
Yeah.
to keep the
But the
parity
thing
there,
is- but the
which
thing
makes
is-
it much harder in the NFL to maintain a team that's going to be on a thing. Because I think the Argos in a position that
Yeah.
they could win 3 in a row.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And
Maybe,
the-
but the thing is this: in the reason why the Edmonton Eskimos and their dynasty, as I consider the greatest in professional football, is because at that time and even today, you play every single team in the league every year. So when you play every team, every team knows what you're doing, and it's harder to win 14 or 15 games a year and win 5 championships in a decade in a league where everybody knows you, everybody
Different
plays you.
time, bro.
Yeah, but
Different
but even now, when you
Can't
look
compare
at
it.
oh sure, we'll look at the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They made 2 Grey Cups in a row. They won them. They have last year they lost to the Argos, and the reason is because the
They're a
Argos
good organization.
well, no, but the thing is the Argos play Winnipeg every year. It's not like, well, they're in the West. We don't know. It's an unknown
Okay,
quantity.
but
They
we're
play them
talking
every
apple
year.
and
So-
oranges here because look at
I don't
there's
know.
only
I don't think we are.
9 teams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
In this-
29 teams, but how many of those teams are very good? How
Not
many
many.
of those teams? That's right. So you've got
No,
4
he's saying
teams.
that. Well, we're saying the CFL. There's only 9 teams, and like
Okay,
Yeah.
but
a
how,
few
but
of
how
those
many
teams.
Okay, but how many teams in the NFL are super good?
A
6
bunch.
teams.
A
No,
The
bunch.
NFL is a lot of parity.
No.
Don't
There
fool
is a bit,
yourself.
but I mean, yeah.
6 teams. Or I'd say 4 teams have an inside shot at the Super Bowl. The next 6 down are good. They're kind of like the Air
Okay,
Coryell
well, okay,
Chargers.
wait,
Okay, well, I think we're getting a little
11
off
and
topic.
5.
Yeah, we're going to
11
get to
and
the
5.
NFL.
And
we'll
then,
get there.
you know. and
Okay,
then
but you just
the
got to
next start-
remember this.
yeah.
I'm just going to push back this way, okay?
That's fine.
You just brought up Eric Coryell
Yeah.
and the San Diego Chargers, who
Yes.
never won anything, and I
That's
think
right.
Downsveld should be remembered. But I'm saying
Yes.
this. The times have changed so dramatically
Mm-hmm.
in the way that you have to construct a team. So to
Yeah.
talk about the dynasties from then and now
Mm-hmm.
is like talking about the hockey before the salary cap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But in any event, we're
Yeah.
pro Argos here.
Yeah.
And we
And I
want to
am.
say
Yeah.
huge. You both guys are both going to the games tomorrow,
be
right?
there.
I'll be there.
I was
I'll be at
I'm
the
doing
tailgate.
my hair. I was going to make it, but I'm doing my hair.
So
It's-
score
Okay,
predictions.
fine.
I'm saying 34-12.
I like
Argos.
that score. I think they're going to win by 20, and I think that the Winnipeg is going to win too. But I think
Yeah.
that game's going to
It'd
be
very
closer
close. I
because the
think-
Lions are going to
Yeah.
give it a go.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll
the
see,
beat- yeah.
because like looking at it, like it looks like the Lions kind of fell off the second half of the
Yeah.
season.
Yes.
They weren't as,
Yeah.
I
They weren't
still
as
expect
solid,
that
yeah.
that West final could still be a rout as
But,
well.
but I
You
think
think so?
that-
Winnipeg's going to run away with?
I-
What's the
I-
spread on it? It's 8, isn't it?
I think
I don't
that,
know.
I think that the Lions. I think it's going to be a 3 or 4 point game because the thing is the Lions when they play Winnipeg they play much better than they play any other team and the fact that they beat Winnipeg in Winnipeg this year they thumped them like 35-5 or something.
That was
Destroyed
in
them.
that was in July or
That was in
something.
July,
That's-
but still, it's the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. To thump them in Winnipeg is hard.
I'm still going to go to the theory a team in July is not the same team.
No,
it
it's
is in
not. No,
November,
you're
is
right.
it?
No,
Yeah,
I
okay.
definitely agree. But the thing is, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are hosting the Western Final, so they are still the best team in the West.
sure.
They're still the best team. I
You're
mean,
a smart
they're not as good.
mofo, man.
Yeah,
You're a smart guy.
They're not as good as they were in 2019 and 2021. Those years they were lights out. 2000, even last year, they were a better team, and I think that that's a testament to the fact that even in this even in the CFL, people really get on the fans and people really get on the teams for like, hey, they beat you last year. You better have your team ready. And you see what's happening in Saskatchewan. They're getting ready to throw.
Okay, they're not even in the picture, so
they're not
I
even in
don't
the
want to
picture.
even
Yeah. Okay.
digest
All right, okay,
time
we'll
talking
talk.
about Saskatchewan.
won't talk
What are we going
about-
to
Let's
talk
move
about?
on.
We'll talk
So-
Argos.
Talk about we were talking go no big shout out to the Argos here.
Yes.
So-
and
I
love
and,
the
and the
Argos.
Yelta Shoeys, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to have the party that quite
Yeah.
they have.
Yeah.
But this said,
No, they'll have the party there though.
No, they'll
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
party down there, so it's going to be it. Which should segue, if we're going to be talking about Toronto teams, we might as well give a shout out to another team in the city that's have a little bit of a pertinence, and we've just
Yes.
had the Arizona league
Yeah.
meetings, and we're talking about the Toronto Blue Jays. What do they
Yes.
do there, bro? What do they do down there? Did you hear some of the things that you heard was going on with the Blue Jays down there?
Your
You know
buddy,
what? When
Scott
I,
Boris, our favorite agent.
oh, you know, did you notice he's got a growing a tail? That guy's growing a tail. Come on. He walks in the room, there's a little aura of smoke around him. Fire comes out of his mouth. We should have said, what else is ruining baseball?
The agent.
Scott Boy. Well, we know they're scum anyway, but it's interesting because he came out that because he's Chapman's representative. So you knew what he had to say. And, okay, we're
Most
we're
powerful
just,
agent in baseball. Not even a
maybe one of the
question.
most powerful agents in the world.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
guy's got freaking cojones, buddy. Like, you know what I mean? But they were talking about, like, what like, just very quickly, because it's off season here.
Right.
Like, the Toronto Blue Jays are in a position where they can contend again next year.
Sure.
So there's definite holes they've
Let's
got to
hope.
fill into. So we're gonna like they're already getting punked. Like how many times do you think that they got punked in the hallways when Akins and Shapiro went by and somebody said Marino, Gurriel, Marino, Gurriel. So anyways,
That sounds like something I would do.
oh, I would for sure. I'm that kind of a bastard. I'd be freaking going.
do you guys
How's
think
Marino
that-
guy? What did you do? Drive him to the airport? Or you just got him on the cheap and sent him on a bus? You know?
Pulled the was it
But
when
as
Florida
a-
sent the
but
coach
as a-
to the cab?
Yeah, exactly.
As a
Come
guy
on.
who doesn't follow baseball as much, I think remembering, and again, I'm going back to the past with 92, 93, and the 80s and that. Okay, and I understand. It's totally different. But what I mean was, in those days, and I've checked, and I've looked at how much it cost back then. Those two teams cost 45 and I think 46 million to put those fantastic world-beating Harlem Globetrotter teams that they had together. I really don't think that the Jays are in the income bracket to do what they to really contend for a World
Are you
Series.
nuts?
I really don't think they
Are you
Wait,
nuts?
so
Have
what do
you
you
been
mean by-
paying
hold
attention?
on,
What do you
hold
know?
on,
Wait,
hold on.
let's
Well,
just go back.
let me ask. Like, what do you mean by not the income bracket? Like,
Yeah,
clarify
well,
that.
I mean, from what the last time I looked at what teams' salaries were.
Okay, so you're just saying they're not spending,
Yeah,
which I think we agree
Yeah.
on that because
Okay,
we're saying
but
this is Rogers. They should be
yeah.
going balls to the wall.
But we're top
Yeah.
5. We're top 5 in the league this year.
But they're so far down from the top 2 or 3 from what I've seen.
Well, that's
They made the playoffs. So wait a
did.
second
No,
here.
they
You got
did.
to in this new baseball, you got to make the playoffs. So
Sure.
we're going to go say so we were going to consistent roll of playoffs. And when springtime comes and spring training comes up, there'll be people that are saying the Toronto Blue Jays are making the playoffs based on our 4 starters
Yeah.
right off the top.
But is that also because now you have the wild card? I mean, back before.
Okay, we're not
you
talking
had
about
to
that.
win.
Wait.
You
We'll go
had
back to your
win.
original. No, let's go. Let's not spread it. When you say when you make a grandiose statement, we
Right.
have to verify what you're saying.
Okay.
And what you're trying to tell me is that the Toronto Blue Jays are a cheap franchise. I'm saying no. Aikens and Shapiro are bean counters, and they're willing to spend because we got top 10 at least, aren't we? I think we're
I think
top
we're
5.
top 10. I don't
They're
think we're
top
top
10.
5.
They're not
We're
top
top
5.
What?
They're not.
Oh,
I
well,
don't think
we're
they're.
definitely top 10, and we're
Okay.
willing. Okay, so now
That's
we're
good, but-
okay. So before you say anything, right now as we are speaking, they are taking shots at. Let's take a talk here.
Jays
They-
were 7th this year.
See what I okay? I knew it was top 5 because it was definitely top 7. So there's top 7 out of 32 teams.
30.
Bro. Okay, 30. So that means they're spending money, and they could have spent more, but they made mistakes, I believe, in honoring some of the contracts. So the question is now, the Blue Jays are at the door. Congratulations for Gozman, who's
Yeah, I
been
was going to say,
make sure we
Cy Young nomination.
and he would have probably won if the bullpen had saved a couple games or he got some
Right.
run support.
Well, I don't know about that, but
Oh,
it's still a
he's
fantastic
rec-
season. Let's not diminish that.
Okay, so anyways, now there's a number of things. I don't know how much of you're following the Blue
Right.
Jays.
Not as much as you.
Okay, so one of the things that we've carped about on this show incessantly is you can't win unless you have a solid infield. If you don't have a second baseman and a shortstop playing every day, then it's going to. And even though Andrew will say it's only 10% of the game, we've seen a lot of 10% in these playoffs, bro.
Sure.
Okay, so anyways, we're down there in Arizona, and after be getting punked, they got to be getting punked about the trade. Excuse me, and that hurts. They start bringing up who's out there. Okay, what I'm going to do, Otani's wide open, eh? Okay, and the Jays have not.
Everyone and their mother's going to take a swing at him.
Okay, but they're saying the top guys, and I've seen this on 2 places. The teams that are kicking the hardest are usual. San Fran, the Angels, and the Dodgers, and the Yankees. And the other team that's kicking just as hard, Peter, is the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah.
So if the Toronto Blue Jays are kicking that hard at Ohtani, who is expected to get $600 million, how can you tell me that the Jays are a cheap freaking organization?
I'm not saying that they're cheap. I'm saying that they are not at the level. They're not at the ability to go out and pick an all-star team eyes closed like they could in 92, 93. In 92, 93, they had, who did they have? They had
How old were you in 92?
They had,
I wasn't born yet.
Oh, yeah. I
okay,
forgot
you weren't
you were
born.
born.
No, but let me just tell you, the Blue Jays had the greatest DH of that era.
Okay,
They-
so okay.
Hold on,
I know
I don't
the
want to
team.
waste
finish,
time
let
on
me
that.
finish.
I don't want to
They
waste
had-
time
they
on
had
that.
They had
Buddy.
They had Stewart. They had Steve. They had Cheeseman. They had
Winfield.
I mean, the team.
That
one of
was
the
them, bro.
greatest
We're talking about
all-star
right now.
teams
So
of all
what
time.
is that
But they
going-
had the money to go out and get that team. They don't have the money to go out and get a team that talented now. They don't. To
I
get a
push
team
back
at
large.
that level. No.
Nah.
They don't have a team to go out and get that level of player and spend more than every other. Remember, in 1992-93, the Jays spent $45 million. That was A1. That was the most.
Well, yeah,
anybody
93,
spoke.
they did have the highest payroll.
They had the
in
highest
baseball,
payroll.
Sure.
They're not going to have the highest payroll probably ever again.
Well,
I
let me
doubt
tell you a
that.
story about the team with the highest payroll this year.
Yes.
The
Oh,
New
let's
York
talk about
Mets.
the top.
Okay.
No, and who's number 2?
Yankees.
And number 3,
The
San
Padres.
Diego. Okay, and how well did they do?
All right.
Okay, so now listen to what the premise is, because I want
Right.
to spend. We've got a lot to talk about. I want to spend too much time on the Blue Jays. What we're talking about here is not those Blue Jay teams were great. Let's not talk about that, because you know what? I had a blonde girlfriend in '92. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not concerned about that. I'm talking about right now. And if you're trying to tell me the Toronto Blue Jays aren't spending money, you're out of your mind. They're kicking now and next. You know the other big prospect they're looking at? This kid from Korea. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah, I heard.
What's his name?
I heard about. They were looking at a kid from Korea. I
Okay,
don't know
so
his name.
anybody, he's like Otani light. So you know who's lying? You know heard about the guy, eh? Jung
Of
Lee.
course.
Yeah, okay. So we're kicking his tires. Okay, next in line, and this is one you and I are going to agree on. Let's give Cody Bellinger hey, let's give Cody Bellinger the bag.
Put him in left field. There's a space for him right
oh
there.
my God! You think I'll pick him up at the airport. Okay,
I'll come with you.
Okay,
We'll
here
we'll show them the good
and
weed
those
here.
bonds that we were talking about, the whole 9 yards. So, Peter, what we're saying is, if you're going to be back on the show in the next few months, and you probably will be, take us. We'll let you be back by spring training, and you see what's going on. Now, I'm not saying that the Blue Jays are going to make any crazy trades or what they're going to do, but Ryan Hoskins is on the list.
They shouldn't be allowed to make crazy trades.
No, they should just try to pick guys up.
Just sit on your hands.
So what should we do? Do you think we should take a shot at Montgomery or Aaron Nola? They're both on the market, and I don't know if Texas is going to bring Montgomery back. I go, that's nuts.
I don't feel too good
You know
about
Montgomery
it. It depends on the
starter
prices.
of Texas.
'Cause I don't like
Texas,
exactly
okay.
throwing balls to the walls to get to starting pitchers.
But I don't think they'll do it anyway, because look at Robbie Ray was the chance, won the Cy Young,
I'm
and
fine
they
with
said
that.
no.
I'm
I
fine
didn't
with
either.
that.
He's the Jack Campbell of what we were talking about. Like, remember we said don't give
I
Robbie
don't
Ray.
think it's that bad.
No,
So
but
what
we
is
didn't
it?
give the money. Remember we didn't. We both said don't give Robbie Ray that kind of cash. So I don't know what Aaron Nolan's going to want or Montgomery.
They're going to want the bag.
Okay, but now what happens here though? We'd have a super staff. What if Manoah? Manoah's a big
He's the X
factor. But
factor.
I heard that he is actually, as we speaking, working out like a madman. Like there's good words coming out. Have you
I
heard
hope
him
that's
good?
true. I hope that's true.
Haven't you heard that? I heard that he's working out and he's doing his thing.
So what is the reason? What has been stopping this wild card team? Because remember, before you didn't have the wild card, you had to win the division itself to get into playoffs or whatever. So what is stopping this wild card team? Because when I see them,
Last time I checked, the Arizona Diamondbacks are a wild card team, and what did they just play in the World Series? Was that the World Series I talked? Was there a wild card in that team?
but
did
why-
they win 84 games and
but
get to
why
the
are
World
the
Series?
Jays-
Texas Rangers were wild
but
cards
why
too.
are
Yeah,
the
but they're
Jays
better
not
record.
a real contender? If
You're nuts, buddy. Are you
are
serious?
they a real I don't
Yes,
consider
they
them a
are.
contender for World
Okay,
Series.
okay. I want
I
you
don't
to do
consider
this,
them a
but then
contender
we'll
for
end the
World
Blue
Series.
Jay conversation like this, okay? And you do your studies and you come back and you tell me one team in baseball that's going to start their rotation with Gozman, Barrios. What's my head case guy? I'm forgetting.
Oh, Bassett.
Bassett, Kikuchi, who was a major marvel. Now we could go for a free agent and get a super staff. Manoah could come back, but we also have Ricky Tiedemann in the system who might come up as a starter.
Right.
So I'm saying that's automatic with the bullpen who we're going to be keeping. All the guys are under contract. So if you know anything about baseball, pitching is what, 70% of the game.
Yeah,
So we're
it
going to
is.
have a pitching staff on
he's close to
paper
50.
that we start the season where people are going to say they're a contender. My problem is this, and this is what I said last year, and I don't know if they're going to clean it up. The defense on this team was supposed to get better, and analytically speaking, they were better in the outfield. But in the infield, they did not have anybody
Well-
to solidify, and that's why they should give Chapman the qualifying order, and I think
Offer,
they
yeah.
bring Chapman
Well,
back.
and we
I
talked
think.
about, too, they gave up too much offense to get that defense. The
Exactly.
trade-off didn't make sense.
Ryan Hoskins looked good to you too, but he hasn't played all year. But he's out there. Someone's got to give him a ticket. They named a couple of guys. Like, you know what?
We're getting a little
Shamir-
bit off track here because the thing I want to bring up is how they brought back the same hitting coach.
Oh,
And then
okay.
Don
Go ahead.
Mattingly-
That's right.
let's just give our 2 cents about this. And Mattingly is going to be their offensive coordinator, which I don't think I've ever heard used for baseball before. Which
But
is
I
very
said he
odd.
wasn't using enough last year. Remember, sometimes I'd see him standing there and he wasn't talking. Remember, I
Fair
brought that
enough.
up.
I just think it's
Matty-
odd. That's my point.
But then he should just be the batting coach. Why don't they just make him the
Why not?
batting?
Yeah, that's
what
where
I
I'm
don't
going with
get.
this.
I'm going like.
What does that
batting-
mean, offensive coordinator? That sounds like a made up title.
That sounds like they don't want to pay him more money or some shit. Look at Don
That could
Mattingly,
be true.
Mr. Baseball in
Yeah.
his day.
Yeah.
One of the
Great hitters.
One of the best baseball player I think that not under the juice, who's not in the Hall of Fame, is Don Mattingly.
I can't believe that he's not in the Hall of Fame. That's absurd.
It is. He will get there.
Yeah, this is my LaFleur.
Serge is in the house,
How you
by
doing,
the way.
Serge?
The
How you
Kensington
doing?
Market.
But any
There you
event,
go.
I think that's enough baseball talk.
definitely.
For
definitely,
what,
Ron. Especially
November?
since the Blue Jays can't afford anything. Okay.
They're not. To me, they are not playing at that level where you could say they were in the wild card twice and they got smoked twice. They got beat pretty
That's nice,
darn
dear.
badly
That's nice,
this
dear.
year. They
That's
got
nice,
pretty
dear.
darn badly. So,
Because they
sorry.
couldn't hit. Well, because they couldn't hit their way out of
Okay.
it. That was the
Yeah.
problem. So we'll move on to, of course, Toronto, the mecca of hockey
Back-
City.
Oh yes.
We got. So I know you want to bring up about Bedard and selling personalities.
Okay, so what we got in the NHL right now, we're going to get Toronto-centric, which we always do, but I mean, we're still only 12, 13 games in the season, which is a small sample size, even though we'll discuss where your Toronto Maple Leafs in a minute.
Oh, yes.
But what I found very fascinating, this thing, and we've discussed it for a while, Peter, and we've been saying it for the last couple of years, that we think problem with the NHL is they don't take enough time to promote personalities. Okay? We like it, Serge. Sorry about the situation, bro. But anyway, Serge, sing in the house. Give us a shout out, bro. And
How's it going, Serge?
Yeah, how you doing, bro? How you doing? Serge in the house, our proprietor.
Yes.
In any event, what's really interesting about the NHL this year is they are trying to grow, but I think the craftiest guy going is this Gary Bettman, and we have a little bit of issue with Bettman in this house because
okay.
A lot of issues.
Okay, put it this way: we are not driving the Gary Bettman bandwagon. No. Is that how you would put it?
I'm trying to push it off the cliff.
Yeah, okay, here we go. So, anyways, my point being is there's an interesting dichotomy going on in this way, and we should get back to saying getting the NHL network back in Canada. Yeah. But I recently said
that's a Rogers thing. But.
Yeah, I know, whatever their problem is. But the bottom line is ESPN is going out of their way to promote hockey. And one of the things that is going on is, if you don't know what's going on in the world of sports, Pat McAfee is taking a large step up in the sports scenery in the last 6 months. We all know that, right?
It's been building up longer than that.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, he's made
ever
this
since
step.
he's gone on ESPN, it's just gone next level.
Yeah, he's got...
And of course, ESPN... They got hockey now, so looking to promote that.
So, to preface the story as quickly as I can, the first commissioner of any sport that's showed up on the Pat McAfee show, who now has a
nationwide audience.
A nationwide audience, but he's got a segment called Hockey is Awesome. So what does he do? He brings in Gary Bettman to discuss the state of the NHL. I puked a few times. I dropped my thing on the floor. And then a couple of times I go, the reason he's crafty is this. He agrees with the growing the personalities. He's telling the players to go on social media more. He's going, okay, but
that's a bad idea.
I don't know if it's a bad idea, but
I think if you're smart about it, just don't be in the comments arguing with people. Just post some stuff, I think
don't be Logan Mayo.
But it's such a sharp, double-edged Wilkinson sword. That's the thing. I think social media is great. The minute you get on the wrong side of an issue,
we got that.
I mean? But anyway,
that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is the fact that he is telling them that he is promoting. Get the players to get out there so they'll be more fan-friendly. Everything is fan-friendly.
Definitely.
Okay, and then the other word, and I think he used the word healthy 782 times in a 15-minute interview. What is healthy?
Get this man a thesaurus.
I couldn't believe it. Everything was healthy. What is it? What is this thing that he said? And I wrote this down just for you. He said... what happens is when we have the salary cap this way, we have the greatest competitive balance in all four of the major sports. Oh, yeah. I said, what? Let's talk about Winnipeg, but he didn't bring that up. He dodged Arizona. Didn't I? He dodged Arizona. Okay,
I wonder why.
Okay, so he dodged there. Well, there's a political factor, and we have to see about the arenas. It's feasible because we think we can be healthy in Arizona.
My bowel movement was healthy today.
Well, that's about, and it was driving me nuts. But here is the great conundrum, okay? Peter, here's one thing that Andrew and I, this is what kind of makes our shows, that is there's an old school, new school element, and there's a blend going on. And I've often believed that Andrew is right when he says there shouldn't be so much fighting in the game. When we were kids, fighting was just insane.
It was a part of it.
Okay, so anyways,
70s was the worst era for us.
Oh God, I was a kid.
80s was even more fighting.
Okay, I'd go 70s, but we'll get back. Here's the point being, part of McAfee's shtick is the spontaneous nature of insane things happen in sports. Yeah. So he's glorifying the fact is we get rough in football, but we're not allowed to drop the gloves. They throw elbows in NBA. They're not allowed to drop their gloves in hockey.
Unless you're Serge Ibaka.
Yeah. but in hockey, you're allowed to drop. You used to drop your gloves. Now, here's what I've always said to Andrew, and I said, I think that hockey does have to police itself, and if it's a spontaneous combustion, which we're going to get out to later in the Marchand Lindgren situation, is If it's a spontaneous combustion, you got to stick up for your team and you got to do your thing. Okay, I get it. But Aberjackie and Reeves going on pay-per-view at middle of the ice is just not something him and I are going to agree with.
Right.
My point being is McAfee asked him the tough questions about what's going on in the league, about this type of thing. And McAfee was actually nearly frothing to say, what are we going to do about fighting? Bettman had, it's healthy. The game will police itself. I looked at him and I said, this guy is why he's running the league for as many years that he is. I'm not saying he's running it well, bro.
Well, we all know that fighting needs to be in the game in the States to keep it alive and well there. It's a marketing tool in the States.
That's what I'm saying was more marketing.
I disagree with that because I don't think
What do you mean?
fighting, because I don't think fighting is what made, like, I mean, if you look at some of the teams that got popular, some of the teams that like, I mean, if you look at Dallas, okay, now, first of all, I mean, I would much rather have the Minnesota North Stars stay in Minnesota, but they went to Dallas and they won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Now, I think they got fans a lot more, and they got a stronger thing going in Dallas because they have a hockey team that has won the Stanley Cup. If you look at Tampa Bay and its fan base is based not solely on, but a lot on Canadian snowbirds. So you have that, and you have a team that wins. If you have a team with exciting players, with offense, with lots of goals, and they win games, you're going to draw in fans.
Okay, we got you. But listen what. I think fighting is a part of the game, and Andrew respects that. Okay, but no,
I
wait,
think it's a huge marketing tool in the States. 100% is.
That's why
it's been like this since the beginning of the NHL.
Yeah,
Peter.
Pete. So that's
and how come the National Hockey League has not moved past the other sports?
Because it's a niche sport.
Well, okay.
I don't want to say it's a niche sport.
It is, though. We talked about this.
Because
naturally, you need places that are cold and have ice.
Yeah.
A lot of the states, they don't.
They don't have it.
Just naturally just not going to pick up there.
Okay, so that gets me back to our original premise before we go back to 1980 again. But the bottom line is, the idea is to grow the sport, to grow the market. One of the things that came up when I was there is it looks like the NHL is going back to the Olympics. That's a good thing. Because everybody wants that. Okay.
It's a much better thing.
Yeah, but they haven't decided. It's getting there. But what our point is, Peter, is this. How do you grow the NHL? And you've got a mass marketing giant called ESPN that is all in on this. I hear Molly Karam talking on First Take about hockey tonight. What does Molly care? Great, I love Molly. Molly, if you're listening, love her to death. What do you think Molly really... She is from Connecticut.
Yeah, she might. But anyway, she does have a decent hockey background. Then
I'm hoping so, but none of those. What's Stephen A. Smith's background in hockey?
No, well, we all
the
know
puck
that.
is black. Come on, that bullshit.
His brother Plique Subban.
Yeah, his brother, exactly. But anyway, Pete, my story is this: what made it interesting about Bettman is Bettman was almost a carnival barker.
Yes.
On Pat McAfee's show, and when McAfee asked the tough questions about what was going on, he kind of push that over there as its point of the court, which makes your point about niche, growing that niche crowd, and at the same time, like we're going, he said, attendance is healthy.
Yeah.
The ratings are healthy.
What it is this. When if you're looking at the way the National Football League built itself, and you look at how they built a mystique, if you look at for any sports fan, I tell them go and look at the really good documentaries about NFL films by NFL films. When they talk about we had to create a mystique for the game. We had to create that film, that sort of film critique of the game. When you have games, when you have highlights all being shot on 16mm film, it's all in color. It's
okay. Wait.
I don't think you can really compare that NHL to that.
Yeah.
No, but hold on a second.
Wait. No. Because we're not talking about 1962. How does that relate? How does that relate? No, wait. How does that relate to growing the NHL? Because that's one thing we say in the house that happens, so you'll understand this. You'll never be confused again. We here at the house call the NFL what?
The monolith.
The monolith. And who shakes it? Nobody except themselves. So you can't even compare the NFL because you can do anything you want, because the NFL has been built on what we'll talk about in a little bit. Is what we're talking about right now is the NHL trying to broaden its market so it can have 1/10 of the audience of the NFL.
But what they need to do is they need to have that what I grew up with the NFL, and you guys don't understand. I watched a lot of NFL from the first time I really started watching. It was '79, and one of the things that got me into the NFL.
We're talking about growing hockey.
I understand. But one of the things that got me into hockey as well was knowing about Bobby Orr. Was seeing the history of the game. Where does this game come from? A lot of people in the United States do not know, what they do not understand the history of this game. They don't understand they don't understand who are the great figures on the ice that built the game up. They don't know that.
Wait,
so
okay.
They don't have that connection with it.
Okay.
The NFL has that connection.
Okay, no, wait. No, what? I think people don't know Gordie Howe and stuff. Okay, let's give him another lesson about the house that happens. Okay? One of the reasons that we have this show is because we like to talk about the highest level of competition.
Right.
Hence the reason we talk Formula One.
Right, of course.
We don't talk about cricket because it is not something that's there.
No, cricket is a huge sport.
But
not here.
You should have gotten F1 to NASCAR.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, we're getting back, we're getting way off topic here because I'm not going about any of that. What I'm trying to say is what intrigues me is how the NHL is going about selling the NHL, so because it'll never be as big as basketball. It's never going to be as big
but
as the
it's
NFL.
not sold in the way that other sports
then you're
are.
not listening to me. Why do you think they're going on ESPN? Why is Bettman going on the Pat McAfee show, which is questionably one of the most popular sports shows in North America? Because he's selling a sport to bring a crowd that hopefully appreciates the level of competition that we do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
I understand that. But what I think was that if you look back at how the NHL started to promote itself during the time of Bobby Orr, okay? In the early 70s, they had a show which was almost exactly like NFL films. And what they did was they had the highlights narrated by, I think it was one of those New York guys from NBC Sports. One of the guys that he kind of had a scandal, but whatever. They had that. It was beautifully shot. I liked it.
That was what year?
That was from 70.
Okay, so guess what? How much was your house worth in 1972? How much was your house worth in 1972?
Well, my parents' house in 72
I'm being facetious. I'm trying to say, Peter, I love history more than anybody. But what we're trying to figure out is we're hockey people.
I'm a hockey guy.
Okay, we're hockey people. So what we're trying to do is they own us, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They own us.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm a hockey guy.
So wait, so what I'm trying to get at is that Andrew and I have had a problem with Gary Bettman about how he treats NHL teams. Give him an example. You know what I mean about the salary cap? How small market teams compared to big market teams.
It's more about propping up Columbus and Carolina than it is, letting the Leafs and Montreal and the Rangers and
the really popular teams
do
what they can. No, because this is the point that my friend made. A friend of mine, Sheldon, made is that what he's trying to do with putting teams in Seattle, he is trying to keep a really good national broadcasting contract. He wants to get as many teams in as many places in the United States so that eventually he could get that big ABC contract.
Okay, so he's got the ESPN now. Okay, but no, I'm going to push back on this. Okay, in this way, I think the NHL's made some huge mistakes in this way.
Yeah.
Salt Lake City should got a team because there's snow there. They're screaming for a team.
I think they're next.
They are. Seattle, how many years has Seattle been screaming for a hockey team? Because they had a fan base that they know going up to Vancouver.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is the corporate money that brought teams to Atlanta and to Arizona is what makes hockey a niche sport, because no matter what they do in those cities, people aren't showing up anyway.
People aren't showing up.
So,
but people don't even show up in Pittsburgh. If you look at some of their great playoff years, they still weren't selling out their games. Buffalo wasn't selling out playoff games a few times. They weren't selling them out. And that's sad.
I'm not going
That's
that far.
sad. That's
Okay, well
sad,
then let's
but-
talk about a team that sells out all the time, gets too much press in this freaking country,
Oh, I know
and
them.
sometimes I get so sick of hearing about them that I
Me
got to
too.
defer
You're in the
to
wrong
my
city then. If
Okay,
you,
Yeah.
okay. You know what?
Me too.
I
I
want to
agree
get
with
on
that.
that about.
I agree with
You know what? I'll talk about Montreal too. There's a conspiracy in this province for people that want to watch Montreal
That's
Canadian
right.
games.
Me too.
You should see what
I
happened
agree.
on. I got the game last night, but I'll tell you.
I
That's
agree.
about the buffing. But anyways,
Conspiracy.
what we're gonna do? I'm getting pissed. I'm gonna explain that in a minute. What we should be talking about is the absolutely stunningly unimaginable. Bring people to the table to talk about it all the time. Opening 12 games of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Opening 13.
Okay, it's 13. Oh, yeah, they did lose last night. So how's the D going, bro?
Oh, not good.
Okay, how's it? Klinberg.
People are ready to ship him out of town.
11-7 tomorrow night? Is that the rumor? They're going
Well,
to 11-7?
he's officially out of the lineup with an
Officially?
injury.
Oh.
Put that in air quotes.
3.1 mil they got him for?
4. It's a 1-year deal though, so
Thank God.
it's going to be easy to move. He's got to go. ASAP. Ship him out the door.
Really?
I'm close to saying ship Bertuzzi out of town too.
I give Purdue a little bit more time. I can't figure out line, mate.
I want to try him on the third line with Domi before I get him out of
Yeah,
there. But
okay.
it's clearly not working with him in the top 6.
No. He's always at a place on the ice.
Yeah, I
know
don't know.
what I
Maybe
mean?
it's
Like
got to put the stick tape on or what.
Whatever.
but-
You know what I think it
whatever the
is?
case
You know
may
what it
be.
is? And I thought what it is I think he's one of those players that hasn't adjusted to what he's trying too hard maybe. I think there's more in him. I wouldn't give up
Maybe.
on Bertuzzi because sometimes Bertuzzi's forecheck and he was in there. He didn't get an assist, but he was on there with sometime he ended up with Domi on a couple shifts the other night.
Yeah,
it was on the ship.
but he's mainly been playing with Nylander Tavares last few
And he's
games.
going there. And so now what's going to happen?
Domi had a rough few games, but I think he's kind of settling in. Third line center looks like a good spot for him.
Oh, it's been
Yeah.
the best that he's played on. So what's going to happen tonight if they go to 11-7? What forward do they sit in?
I think you know the answer to that.
What? I'm not that smart of a guy. Help me out.
Ryan Reeves.
Come on, yeah.
Which, by the way, I called from the beginning when they signed him. I said they should not be playing him every game.
Okay. You
I said
did
they
say
should
that.
pick,
That
said
is
they
on
should be
tape.
picking their spots with him.
That's what I'm saying.
Which, if they go in that direction, I won't be upset in.
Because you know
with.
what, and you know me, because I've been off work, Peter, and because of my
right.
setup,
I have been too.
okay, this afternoon I rewatched the Colorado Jersey game, which was good.
Yeah.
And I rewatched the Islander Boston game because I'm getting to be such a junkie. And what I've noticed about the teams that are starting to move away is, like your theory, you're right. My theory is have 6 big defensemen. Your theory is, but I want 3 centers to pick up the puck going up there. Now
That's
you
right,
look at the
yeah.
top teams.
Be
in
strong down the middle.
Strong
It's
down-
kind of
yeah.
like our baseball thing. We're like center field,
Yes,
second base,
Second base.
shortstop,
I
and catcher. You want to be strong
I
there.
still think I would lean first to my defenseman. I'm not backing up
Well,
the best way.
I don't think those ideas necessarily have to be in conflict. I think
You
your
want
D and your
both.
set exactly.
You want both, but it's hard to
Exactly.
get those guys. You look around the league. There's a
Well,
lot
I
of
would
teams
say
that
like you
bump
got to be like
defensemen.
top 3 centers and like your top 4. You have to be really strong.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's your 7
Yeah.
guys, and you know what? That's going to be. We're going to do a mantra next season. We start the season. How to build an NHL team. We want 7 guys.
Yeah.
4 6-footers on defense.
And of course, you want a guy that can make a save in the net.
Oh,
Unlike the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh my God! Well, we're going to get to them in a minute. But
will.
what do you think is going to happen tomorrow night? The Leafs are in. They're playing right now. I got it on PVR,
Yeah.
so I'm going to watch it. So don't tell me no scores or anything.
I don't want to know either.
Okay, so here's the deal. Like Peter, let's look at this.
Right.
I'm not saying it's too early in the season to pull panic. But because we've
Agreed.
got an overreaction public who,
Yes.
they're like dogs. They got to put their noses up every Leaf's ass to see what's going on. I still think it's crucial because Calgary's like a wounded bear, and Vancouver is one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, they
So
look
my
good.
theory is this. I want to see Wall play 6 of the next 7 games, and it should be favorable for the Leafs because after they play tomorrow night, they don't play until next Saturday.
Yeah, in Sweden.
Yeah, it's in Sweden where they
Yeah,
play?
yeah.
Okay, so
They play the 2 games there against Detroit and Minnesota.
So that's why they're leaving.
They're doing the NFL thing.
Yeah.
They're going.
yeah, so it's
okay.
like so Toronto, Ottawa, Detroit, and Minnesota are all going to Sweden to play 2 games each.
Yeah.
And are they going to be playing on the huge international rink,
No.
or they're going to
No,
play
NHL
NHL
size.
size?
No,
Okay.
they're going to play an
because
size.
because that would be interesting to see them play.
Oh,
on
you
that
can't do a regular
huge-
season like that.
Oh,
That's
no,
goofy.
no,
I
just
never.
1 or 2
I don't
games.
think I
No,
ever.
No, not if it's going to count. That's
You know
goofy.
what? And we watched it for years. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
I ever want to watch. And it's the only thing I don't like about Olympics is I don't like the Olympic side.
But
I
the,
love
but
it.
the
I love
international
that.
ice got smaller though. It actually, like,
They-
it's getting closer to the
Yeah,
NHL.
No, but
Yeah.
they shouldn't do that. They,
But
they
actually,
should,
but like a lot of
yes,
people do
they
think that
should.
double IHF, they are going to eventually get it to
No,
NHL size
no,
ice.
keep your-
I don't want to watch
keep
soccer
the-
on ice.
That's
I want to watch. I wanna watch
exactly.
No, hold on a
Yeah,
second.
exactly.
But hold on a
Remember
second.
Finland
Your
against
idea-
Canada?
I
Remember that
disagree
game?
with that.
Oh
I,
my
dis- I disagree with that because that's their way of doing it. We don't. We have our way of doing it. We like the Canadian.
The best way.
Yeah. No, but that, no. But
Thank you, bro. That's what we said.
No, but that is. But that's.
And that's why
the-
those
that's the,
yo-yos kept it like
that's
that.
The Canadian
We want.
way.
We're European. We
Yeah,
want to do it
keep
different
that
than
way.
Canada.
Keep it that
no,
way.
Okay,
Keep
but no,
theirs that
wait,
way.
wait,
That's
wait.
their thing.
Wait,
This is our
did they
thing.
change the size of the basketball court?
What did they change?
In international
Who?
basketball,
What?
did they change the size of the court?
But
No.
the rules are different.
There's a
The
few
ball
rule
is different.
difference.
It's
No,
mostly
ball-
the same, though.
It's mostly the
Like,
same.
I call
It's
games for
absolute.
Humber. They go by FIBA rules. It's like
Yeah.
there's a few little differences, but
Yeah.
like it's no like clear path. It's instead they call it in
But I
sportsman.
think,
Like it's
but
very
I think,
similar.
But I think it's great because it takes a different type
I
of
never
player.
wanted-
It,
no,
it takes
stop
a different
it.
type of player.
Stop
it takes
it.
a different type of player.
What?
Why-
The guy
okay,
you play
hold on a
hockey, you
second.
don't. I mean,
Let me-
no.
hold on a
I
second.
can't.
Let
I
me-
can't.
let
I
me-
can't
let me
waste
ask
time
you-
on this. I'm
let
going to
me
say
Peter,
ask
this.
how many
you a
Swedish
question.
hockey league games have you watched in the past year?
Oh my God!
How many-
Stop
okay,
it.
let me
tell
ask
you
a
this, and
question.
you can say all
Let me
this.
ask you a
No,
question.
wait, Peter.
How many Europeans have come over here and totally dominated when nobody thought they were in it? Fedorov, all the guys who what's the guy in Washington?
You're feeding right into my language, buddy. Listen, you know
Ovechkin
what?
plays the game North American style, though.
Exactly,
Yeah,
Peter.
But his skills are from the reason why these guys are so good is because they have better skills. Is because
come on.
when you have to pass the puck accurately.
I would
a
argue
longer
in North
distance-
American you're able to build up your skills better because you have less time
No.
and space.
No, I disagree.
Okay, well, then we'll
you're
let you
building
take
it
that to
better,
the bank
and
because
you could see it
you will
in
see it.
1972. with the
Oh,
best
what are we
hockey
back in
team,
'72?
The
Stop
best hockey
it!
team, the best hockey team that we ever had, and Russia clowned them on our ice. It was on our ice.
Well,
that
that's
they won
because our guys were
73.
still hungover from the night before. They didn't have any.
It's
No.
because they were
Peter, look
good.
it up. Look it up. Our guys didn't train. Russia, they trained 365 days a year.
Yes.
Those guys were an army.
Yeah, but
literally
they were better,
and figuratively.
But they were better players. They were better players.
They're better trained.
They were better trained. Okay, but they're better players.
Okay,
And I
let's-
think
we're not back in the
that does
future,
that.
Pete.
Well, fine.
Okay,
but
we're not talking
think,
about-
I think
let's-
the European players have proved
Okay,
that they're
no,
damn
no,
good.
no.
Why
Okay,
can't they ever
okay.
beat Canada on best on best?
There you go. So end of story. Here's another thing what you got to understand is the Europeans will tell you they race to get to Canada because
Yeah.
they say the quality of play in North America is much better. Because what happens when you have a rink that big, and it was proven when Finland played Canada? What did those guys do? They lined 5 guys across and did do nothing. And it was one of the worst hockey games I've ever seen, and they'd never get away
we're
with
getting,
that.
We're getting a
in
little
there,
off
okay?
topic here. We got to
So-
get back to the Leafs.
Okay,
Right.
So
yes,
I think the
Leafs.
thing we got to get to, so there's that Lilligren dirty play by Marchand.
Okay, so what is the team? They had the team meeting, didn't they?
Yeah, and basically, like, what came out of it was that they were saying, like, no one's afraid to play the Leafs, which is true.
Did you hear Stamkos in the thing when he clowned them in the press conference?
I'm not surprised, but no.
Backhanded way. Well, you know, when you're on the ice, you got to do what you got to
Oh,
do.
and you still think he's coming to Toronto after that?
Of course he is.
Oh,
When the
get
money's here,
outta
he's still coming. There's
here.
Stamkos going to play in Toronto one year. I know that. But anyways, I'm saying that that's a big
Yeah, I'm
blemish
going
on
to be
their.
fucking Scarlett Johansson tonight.
In any event, the bottom line is. The word went around the league. Every show you put it on, NHL Network, when I'm watching, they're going about, are we questioning the Leafs' toughness? And then when you got Bertuzzi sitting on the bench with the grin on his face.
I had friends
was
defend that last night, too, which upset me so much.
How can they defend that?
Oh, he's just like, oh, it's his buddy Marchand. He's having it like, buddy, read the fucking room. Your teammate just got injured. He's like, oh, yeah, Marchand, what a goof.
How long is Lindgren out?
Too long.
Okay, and what are you guys' biggest problem right now?
Defense, sir.
And you got a guy sitting
Especially
on that
right-handed
bench.
defense,
a
which
guy,
has been our problem for, like,
okay,
my entire
and then
life.
Bertuzzi's on there, and nobody did. Now, I'm going to give one shout-out to a guy that I keep liking better every day, and that's Austin Matthews. Because, first of all, I'm not saying
He's a
Austin.
stud.
He's a huge... And not only that, he is so strong on his skates. He didn't, Pete, to your point, he didn't grow up with fighting hockey.
Right, yeah.
Okay? So, now guys push him around. He's in the league long enough
Yeah.
that you can't push him off the puck, and he's a very good penalty
Yeah.
killer, by the way. with
Thank
a
you
little.
very
And
much.
he's
Yeah.
doing a very good penalty killing. So
Already
what-
15 block shots on the season, too.
Thank you very much. But I'm saying I don't want Matthews dropping the gloves.
That's right.
No.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
in that scrum afterwards like that, you don't see anybody face washing Matthews anymore.
Oh,
That's the only.
he's a big boy.
That's what
He's
I'm
a
saying.
big guy, yeah.
Okay,
He's
but
230,
I'm
220,
saying
whatever
if you
he
go
is.
back to his first couple years, he was the first guy to duck under cover. Remember those days because he
Yeah.
was young,
Well,
you learned.
he was young,
18,
yeah.
he matured.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that. And did you see the other night when he scored the goal on Monday night and he looked at the crowd and said, "Hey, is there anybody alive in this house? You're in Montreal.
Yeah.
You know the Bell Center would be rocking.
definitely.
And in Toronto, they score a goal and they get the golf clap."
Well, half the lower level still in the platinum club.
But
What
I
do
mean, did you
expect?
see Matthews pumping the crowd and stuff? That stuff
Yeah.
he wasn't doing a couple, 3 years ago.
No.
So obviously they're trying to change something in the clubhouse.
But
how
Well,
do you?
I mean, like, while their playoff record last year was at home was awful.
Oh, brutal.
So something's got to be done.
Okay,
But-
so it
um,
gets us down to this question right here, which I'm going to keep steaming about, even though I didn't like his performance the other night. However, you know me and Mr. Wall. I
Yeah.
think they should take him on a run now. You're going to tell the
It
guys.
looks like that's gonna happen.
Let him take, because how are you going to know? Like, hey, the other night he let in a couple shaky goals, but we know it was a defense that hung him out to dry.
Oh, well, this goes back to the Klingberg point where
Oh, my God.
that he is just so. I heard it might be down to injuries, but whatever the case may be, he's always out of position. And then it's like, oh, this guy's got to cover with him. And that guy's got to come for that guy. And then all of a sudden it's like 5 guys out of position.
Okay, here's two
And you're
things.
screwed.
Okay, here's what I've been doing. Peter's
Minus
in
8 in
that-
13 games for
Oh, yeah.
Klingberg.
Here's what I'm a little bit obsessed. So as you know, I've got my screens and I keep the games all in PVR. So I have a tendency of what I do is I rewind real time. You can watch the replay, but I watch real time and go, what was that guy doing? Oh, what was that guy doing? They only put Klingberg on the ice when they're in the offensive zone.
Yeah.
When there's a face-off. That's bad off the start. And number 2 is how many times I see them flying down. There's a goal scored. Is it at the end? Ryan Reeves comes skating in after the play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not,
So that's-
not exactly the speed
exactly.
skater
But
on
you
the
know what?
team.
I'm not taking him off the team because you got to keep that grit somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to
That's
keep
what I
that
say.
in the back pocket.
Pick your spots with them.
Pick your spots with
but
him.
can I ask you guys a question? Do you think that Canadian hockey is producing the type of player that I think you guys are talking about, like that Daryl Sittler type, great hockey player, great,
Connor
great, you know,
McDavid.
but has that, but is
Connor
but,
Bedard.
No, but can fight. I mean, he can
Cal
play,
McCarr.
but he can fight. I mean, do you think that Canadian
What about
hockey
Tim
still
McKinnon?
produces
John
that?
Timit. Nah.
You think so? So you think that
Sidney
McKinnon's the
Crosby.
baddest motherfucker around in
I
hockey
ain't-
right
I'm
now.
not touching
He's got
that
that
guy.
dog in him.
Did you see the other night that game, the 5-4 that the Avs won? And Pratt's really looking empty without Hughes gone a couple games,
Yeah.
eh? But the bottom line is, did you see out there when the game, like, what was there, 4 lead changes in that game?
Something like that.
It was
an insane
I
game.
just watched the game again. It was insane. But you know what? By the third period, speaking of Looney Tunes, you know when that bull, when Bugs Bunny's going to get the
Yeah,
bull,
yeah,
and
the
the
bull, yeah.
sharpened his
Sharpened
horns
his
up.
horn.
I swear, McKinnon sharpened his stick in between periods.
Oh,
he came
he's-
out looking for blood. Like, he can fly, but he.
I love McKinnon.
Oh, I know. I'm not as big a fan as
If
you.
the NHL does end up going to the Olympics, I think he's going to be
My
the guy to
favorite,
get on the jersey.
my favorite,
Oh, yeah, well,
my
that's
favorite that sort of hybrid is Kane from is Evander Kane. He-
Best player in Edmonton this year.
I
Best
love
player.
him. And the thing is, when he's hot, he is not necessarily skill-wise, skating-wise, but when he's hot, he's just as effective as Connor McDavid.
Yeah, but you
When
see,
he's hot,
Evander,
he's so
Evander,
good.
if
I
Evander
wouldn't
came,
go that far, but
If- I wouldn't go that far either, but-
when he scores like 10 games in a row, or has points in 8 or 9 games in a row,
Sure.
he is that. He's on. Like,
Okay, but
I-
here's the thing I
My-
like
my
about
opinion,
Evander
my
Kane is if shit happens,
Yeah.
he's going to be in the middle of it.
He's going to
Sure.
be in the middle
That's
of
what
it.
I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
So you know what I mean? And
He's
you
a
see,
bad man.
Yeah,
oh,
he's
he
a bad
is. And
guy,
you know
yeah.
what's even crazier? Did you see? There's a frustration. We'll talk about in a minute. I won't go to Edmonton right now. Let's just finish with Toronto. I'm just saying this. I think the 11-7 would be better because first of all, it'll give more ice time to Matthews, a big 4.
Yep.
You got to give big 4.
Back to what we talked about last playoffs, basically. Yeah.
Exactly. And not only that, I'm going to back off on your boy Riley because he's going to just have to play more minutes. Him and Brody are just going to.
He's having a great season so far.
He's solid. I
10
checked
points
his numbers.
in 13
That's
games,
right.
plus 6.
Plus 6, yes.
Averaging almost 25 minutes a
25,
game.
and it's probably going to go up. So I can't say
Blocking
that.
almost 2 shots a game as well.
I just wish he would hit people a little more, but Makar doesn't hit
That's
anybody
not his game,
either.
though.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So what we're hoping for, or you guys are hoping for, because I couldn't really, like whatever the case may be. Toronto's got to figure it out between now and Sweden. They got a week off. So I'm just saying, what are we going to talk about the next 2 games?
That's what kind of worries me about this time of the Sweden trip.
We're going to make our picks in a minute for Saturday night. We'll get there. But
so,
let's get around the league first, right?
Yeah, so I guess, well, first of all, before we get off the Leafs, shout out William Nylander. 13-game point streak, Leaf record.
Well.
I'm not going to say who the best player is on the Leafs because I see
the record 21 games by Sittler or Olchek? Olchek had 18.
Well, to start the season.
To start the season,
yeah,
okay. I think the overall record.
Nylander's playing great, rock star. Number 1 rock star. Austin Matthews.
For more than one reason.
Oh, yeah, he's the rock
We
star.
don't need to get to the groupies right now.
No. But he is the number. I mean, Austin
I told my
Matthews,
friends that, and a couple of them were shocked. They were like, "Why? Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah,
Oh,
bro.
yeah.
Look it up."
Oh, and you see him coming in? This guy's right out of GQ, man, with the hair flying. Like, you see him come in?
No,
Probably
I see some of these guys are
in a
now
city with Bo
dressing
Bichette, he's
better.
got the best hair game in the city still.
What's that? Oh, but Nylander's getting up there.
No, I said Nylander. I'm saying even with Bichette, Nylander's got the best hair game in the city.
Best-
The guys are
best
dressing pretty. The Leafs do dress very well.
Well, you have
they
to
do
with
look
the
good.
suit
You
thing.
have
I
to.
like the Leafs. Most of the time, they look like they're going to funerals. But that's
Anyways,
another story.
though,
What are you going to do about defense? You think you're going to be making a move? And, like, who's going to trade?
Calgary.
Okay.
Zadorov and Tanev are the names being thrown around. We can give them Klingberg because they'll need a guy probably to run the power play too. I mean, it's not going to be just Klingberg. Let's not kid ourselves. It's going to be plus a draft pick and like a B-level prospect. But
Good luck, Toronto, in the next 2 days, which gets us and Peter,
big game against Vancouver.
That's what I'm saying, and if Calgary is a wounded bear, and then they got Vancouver, whose record is what 10-2-1. Peter,
Very
we'd like
good.
to go around the league.
Yes.
Canadian
Do I hit
teams.
up
Yes, of course,
Edmonton?
of course.
Okay, no, first thing we're going to say, I'm
the
going to take
Habs?
care of this, and I'm very glad that Peter is wearing a Montreal Canadian
Definitely.
jersey with
My
Lafleur,
old
might be
mascot.
one of my
We
top.
gotta-
mascot.
let's keep this.
Okay, yeah, we got to
yeah.
keep it rolling.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm just going to say this. If Montreal had a loss last night, I would not have been a happy camper. We're still got our guard starts. You see, you got to understand this, Peter. Like, my partner across the table from me, he's already dug the hole and kicked the bandwagon right in it. We didn't even get out of the parking lot. I had to veer the bandwagon away so we wouldn't go in the hole because he just pushed us into the ground and said, we keep tabs on the Habs. At the house, that happens.
Right.
And I'm going to say this, and that's all I'm going to say about the Habs. I like our young defensemen. They make some mistakes, but we're solid. We got solid guys. Gooley.
It's a development year.
Okay, they're going to be. So we're going to be good with that. The problem with the Montreal Canadiens is simple. Those 1, 2, 3 centers we're talking about, we don't have a number 1 center. And if you're going to tell me Nick Suzuki is a number 1 center, I'm going to tell you you're out of your. He'll never be. Never be a number 1 center.
Do you
I think he's
it-
a great number 2 center. I think he can be a great power play guy. I think he's a great component on your team. But when they come out and they got a guy like Cole Caulfield, who is
He's money.
He's money, yeah.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a goal is
Imagine if he had a Sidney Crosby or a McDavid or some Austin Matthews. We don't have a number 1 center, bro. That's what's killing us.
Right.
And another thing is the 3 goalie system isn't working. So let's go steal something from Edmonton and send him Jake Allen.
Nah. Well,
They just got rid of Jake. They're a sucker
but you know
for
what
that.
though?
They got rid
but
of.
you,
they
but you know
took
what
Jake-
though?
Allen's been your best
Ball,
goalie, though.
No, but you know what? Monton Ball
questionable.
He's got the
played
best save
well
percentage.
in the first few games. Monton Ball played well in the first few games that I saw him. He played okay, but I don't know if he's not ready to be a great.
Oh, he's 27 years old.
Yeah.
He's my number 1 right now. If I was running the Montreal
Well,
Canadiens, I'm
he
saying
played well in
let's
those
get
first few
something.
games.
He's played good. The
Yeah.
other night he had 40-some shots,
Yeah.
and we got bombed.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, that's not his fault. It was a bad night by the
Yeah.
defense. I'm saying this now. If we're going forward, there is not a lot of there's a lot of teams still looking for goaltenders in this league.
Yeah.
We got
yeah.
3,
Yeah.
and that's why we're playing 3 to showcase
that's
them.
right, to showcase
But in
them,
the
yeah.
history of hockey, and you agree with me,
3
bro.
goalie system doesn't work.
3 goalie system does not work. When I seen Primo in the net last night, I went, oh, gee, and he played a great game. Played great against Detroit. I went, whoa. But when I sat down and I seen Primo was in the pipes, I think Montalban's our guy.
Yeah,
But
he's
anyway,
a good.
that's enough
He's a
about
good
the
player.
Habs.
He played well
I just wanted to
in
say
the games
too,
I saw.
to your point about Suzuki, it's kind of hurting just the depth because all of a sudden the number 2's at a loss now. You talked about Newhook. I knew you were excited about him. -8 to start the year.
Because he's playing with bricklayers. He's killing me. He's
I
not bad.
I don't think it's exactly his fault, but it's kind of just that trickle down effect.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
our best center, really, our best two-way center has been Monahan.
Yeah, he's been 12 points to open the year.
Yeah, and not only, but he's good on the defense, even though
Sure.
the press minus is there. But sometimes our defense makes some crazy things. Or the other night, look at Allen let in a couple and got yanked.
But
that happens. But let's go on. We should talk about the problem of the Edmonton Oilers. And the number one question is this:
goaltending.
No, are they going to be a playoff team? Or are they going to be a wild card team? It's only 13 games, and they can claw their way back.
They're making it.
But
that
losing
loss to the Sharks.
Oh my God! And
first of all, I speak of the Sharks. I want to get this out of the way quickly. So, their first loss their first win came against Philly. They were 0-10-1 to get that right to open the season.
Yeah.
Philly also handed Arizona their first win of the season a few years ago when they were 0-10-1.
Yes.
And I mean, one of the best teams that could happen to is Philly. I have no love for the Flyers.
I'm really glad that they got off to that flying start, and they're like the Coyote, like the rocket worked good for the takeoff, but when it got to the destination, and that's Philly. Like they're what last 5.
Philly?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. After that hot start, it's been all down. They're already a bomb 10 team.
But you know what it is? You got to worry about this. Like you're talking about like 10 days ago, and everybody's going, Montreal's got a good start.
Yeah.
Lose 4 in a row, and where do you go?
Yeah.
In the basement,
in this league
That's
now,
right.
which is great.
Well, especially in the beginning of the season.
You can't, because that's why I'm saying Edmonton, no matter what they got to do between
They're
now and
second
Christmas.
last, are they not?
Yeah, between now and Christmas, they got to play 600 hockey just to project themselves to tie a playoff
I mean,
spot.
they're not going to do that.
Don't count McDavid out, but the problem is, like,
McDavid's a great player.
You look at the underlying numbers for his team.
Yeah.
It's all good. The problem
Nugent
is
Hopkins.
I don't think he's the problem. I think it's just goaltending.
It's
They can't get
goaltending.
Yeah, but
saved.
he's
He's
not
goaltending.
scoring. Like a lot of these guys.
He's got 9 points in 12 games.
But he hasn't had a point 4 games or something.
A bad streak.
I don't
streak.
notice the guy.
No,
Who's the other guy? The other
goaltending is
winger
the
they got in the
problem.
second line. There's another guy that seems.
Connor Brown's been a disaster.
Oh,
there.
Connor Brown. What happened to him? I
No
don't even
points.
know. I
But
haven't
what-
seen the guy. Like I'm out and I'm
I
watching.
don't think he's
But
played the
what
last
has
few
happened?
games.
But what happened to? Let's just take a look at what happened to Edmonton last year. What happened to Edmonton last year was they just didn't have good enough goaltending. Had they better goaltending,
they were
I think
still
they could have
a
won.
top 10 team in the league last year.
But what
Oh,
I'm saying,
yeah, number one power
the
play.
In the playoffs, they could have won the Stanley Cup if they had a goalie. They didn't have a goalie. Their
Well,
goalie
they made
stank.
the conference final, so
Yeah, they did.
okay.
No,
so
they
the
didn't
second
win.
round.
Or second round.
Second
yeah,
round.
Okay.
The year before they made the conference
Okay.
final.
My
Okay,
thing
so-
about Edmonton is this: is the same with a lot of teams. Okay, it's like defense is there. Okay, the goaltending is a problem, and now it's starting to spiral. Like the Leafs' problem is defense, and it just affects the whole team. I think what
I don't think you can compare the Leafs and the Oilers.
Oh no, not even
though.
same galaxy. The Leafs win the next 2
Yeah.
games. They're back in the Leafs are too good.
The
Leafs
Leafs
are
are
still in the
the Leafs are a
playoff
good
spot.
team.
No, but
the Leafs
Leaf-
are a good team this year.
Yeah.
Not a great team, but a good team.
No, they're a great team. That's just you know what they're the
I think
car-
it's a little bit of a sputtering start.
Yeah.
Exactly, tighten things up because at some nights when they're flying, like Ottawa, when I thought they tied the game with Domi making
Yeah.
the move, and they got to keep that line together because the one thing about the Leafs too is they're not solid. The same thing happened in Edmonton. The coach is starting to move guys around on those lines to try to jump start it, and so guys aren't familiar with themselves either.
I mean,
So
but
that-
at this level, though, if you can't find chemistry within like the first shift or two, what are you doing?
Is that why Bertuzzi's not working out, bro? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying.
Just saying. I don't know. Just putting it out there.
I told you my piece on him. Give him
Oh,
one
I
more
know.
chance in the third line. If it doesn't work out there, maybe time to move
because
on.
I'm saying
I'm not going to wait for the chance, the off chance that maybe he's going to turn on the playoffs. You don't have time for that.
No, exactly. But and here's the interesting thing: Calgary suddenly got a spark in the last game. So what happened?
Wasn't Huberdeau just benched in the third period recently?
And the guy was smiling in the press box or something in the game, or something like he was doing. I don't know. There's something wrong in Calgary with the whole system there because you can't blame it on the old man now. The old man, but
they got to just explode that thing.
But
they won the other night.
Well,
they won
had-
the other night.
Yeah,
So what do you think they're going to do
The
tonight?
couple of seasons ago
I think
where
they
they
should
went,
blow
where
them
they
out.
went
They're
to
not
the
in play-
playoffs was fantastic. But they didn't have any goaltending. They won that conference going away. But
Nobody
no goalie.
has any goaltending anymore.
Yeah.
It's weird. We've discussed this on
No
previous
goaltending.
shows.
That was it.
So that's why I
Well-
say Montreal's got 3. But you look
Yeah.
at it. Let's
Montreal-
It looks
okay.
like each team has like one good one and then one that's just like crap in the bed.
There
at
you go.
least.
So
Like
there's
LA, Toronto.
So before we
could
go on, we should also preface this, and I think that we should bring this up as hockey guys at the House That Happens before we go on here really quickly, is this. At the beginning of the season, we made some prognostications, which we said we couldn't verify till about American Thanksgiving. 2 things that have come up that have blown me away. The player of the Winnipeg Jets, because we thought they were going to go right off the cliff. Then they suddenly signed those 2 contracts, Hollebuck and what's his name.
Yeah.
And the team has come together, and all of a sudden they're competitive. They won again last night. They're the top 3. Small sample size, and let's not talk
I think they
about.
make the playoffs.
I think they
Yeah.
make the playoffs too, because we're going to in hockey. So we're going to say that. And the other thing is, we've got to give the huge kudos to my power rankings in the NHL. If you don't have Vancouver Canucks in your top 5, and this
you're insane.
Demko guy on goal, where does he come from? He was there last year, but
We all knew Demko was good. If you
now
look at his
he's
last
looking
few seasons,
real good. Yeah.
I mean, but shouldn't be too surprising if you've been watching Vancouver games for the past few years because he's been spectacular. It's the team in front of him that's been questionable.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I mean, now I've always seen him. I've seen those games where they lost like 5-2 and he took 45 shots.
Sure.
Okay. But I mean, like, and he's about 27 now, isn't he? 26?
He was drafted 2014, so yeah, they're about.
Okay, he's getting there. So in any event, my point is this: it's starting to prove pushing guys in the NHL too quickly before they develop might not be a good idea, because now we're starting to see some guys along the read like Ettinger, Markstrom, Justin Wall, Montalban. These guys have been cultivated goalies.
Yes.
And it's starting to work.
But I mean, you got Carter Hart in Philly who looks pretty good despite him kind of developing in the NHL.
But I thought our guy in Buffalo was going to be much better, and he's starting to look a little shaky. What's his
He's also
name?
fresh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
That's the
because he's
problem.
too young, so
Yeah.
maybe he should be getting more. And Sorokin is not making the big save for the Islanders this year.
No.
Every time they're in a tight game, he gives up the wrong goal, and away it goes. But finally, we got one thing to say about hockey, and because we left out one team, and Peter, maybe you can put in your thing about this, is that I don't think it's coming back anytime soon, and that's the Battle of Ontario. Even though Ottawa won last night, they needed that win so badly, but that team is a mess. They're going to run the
Fire
coach out of
DJ
town.
Chance.
Oh, and meanwhile, the players are coming out and defending him. Kachuk
I
come
love
out there.
that. I love that.
Oh, me too, because
Drew, too, I think, came out.
Drew came out and said it. But you got to understand, is like, I'm wondering what the dichotomy is like on a team like Ottawa right now. Like, they came out of the box the first 6 games. They were playing great two-way hockey, things like
Great.
that. Not great, but they were, 3-1 to start, weren't they? Or something
Sure,
weird.
but
Okay.
okay,
That's
like,
too
you had
many,
to-
not a sample size.
Yeah.
We're now 13 games, almost 15 games in. We can take a look at this real team.
They're dead last in the Atlantic.
Which I thought they would be better. People thought they were going to be a borderline playoff team, but
I didn't.
I know, but I didn't either. I couldn't give a damn. But I'm thinking,
I think I had them second last.
yeah, and we're not going to say we had last because that just pissed me off. But that's another story. The bottom line is, I'm saying is that I really feel for Ottawa in this way. If they lose every game for the rest of the year, I couldn't give a damn. Okay, come on. I'm not no Senators guy, but I have to give any team a little bit moxie when they have to go through a guy that gets suspended and they got a gambling thing hovering around them. Then they have this thing about the draft choice and having to fire the GM because he's a complete idiot. So now you got a space in between everything. No, it's an idiot movie made with this whole draft shit that came down. Like, this is nonsensical.
Certified House That Happens moron.
100%. He gets moron of the year. He'll probably be our moron of the year when we get to the end of the year. But
I don't disagree.
This move, and I watch too much sports, people. I'm going to put it this way.
Yeah.
This guy's name has come up in sports shows. Like, I think it came up in the McAfee show.
Oh, get out of town.
I think,
That's
was
hilarious.
it not McAfee or was it another
like
show?
PTI or something?
Yeah, somebody come up and they said, what is this guy doing?
PTI,
So-
yeah, that's on brand for them.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
it was them that it was PTI. But they like, and a lot of times hockey doesn't get enough airplay. But when it gets airplay, they get to point out, is this guy a complete idiot? Is he a complete moron? Or what did he do?
Yes, yes, or yes.
Or, yeah, it's so bad. But so anyway, kudos for Ottawa for trying to get things going because they have a modicum of decent players.
They have a lot of good players on that roster. They just can't.
Something.
Get it
to-
together.
I mean,
Yeah.
goaltending like Forsberg's just been a disaster
But
for them
that's
in net.
but that's what it comes down to coaching. When you have you great coaches, tend to get guys to get, especially if you have good players who might be all individuals. he puts them together as a team.
Maybe,
not
but
a
if you
coach.
heard the Paul Maurice line, show me a good goaltender, I'll show you a good coach.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
End of story. That's a great line, by the way. But
It is
the
a great
bottom line is,
and
I'm
he's seen it
saying-
firsthand with some of those awful goalies he's had in his teams.
Oh my God, he probably have a couple
Yeah.
more cuts by now. But the bottom line is the interesting point is that I'm not doubting coaching. I'm just saying in this world, and we just brought up social media and overabundance of coverage and overreaction, that Ottawa has dealt with a bag full of teams that maybe 6 teams would have to deal with. They've dealt
Yes.
with all of them
Yeah.
in-house. It's got to have some kind of effect on the team.
Sure.
So
Sure.
before we end on hockey, I just thought now we're almost hitting 15 games. From every 15 games, maybe we should say something like, what are your power rankings of your 5 teams
Oh,
in the
man.
NHL? I'm going to say mine right off the top. I think the 5 best teams in the NHL right now are not necessarily in this order, but I'm going to go with the Boston, Vegas,
Yeah.
LA. LA, Vancouver, and I had it written down here. Give me just 1 second, gentlemen. And the Dallas Stars.
Okay, so yours is close to mine.
Okay, is it? Yeah.
So,
Who
so I got Boston, Vegas, Vancouver, the New York Rangers, and Dallas.
Oh, I have Rangers. Okay, that's what. Who did I say then? Did I put in there?
You put the Kings in there.
Okay, well I should have. I should take that out because I looking down here at the Rangers. The Rangers got to be top 5 too.
I
So I'll
can't
take
believe
Dallas.
Jonathan Quick's having as good of a season as he is. I thought he was done.
Unbelievable! Did you see him the other night? He was
No,
great.
he's been spectacular.
And what's the record? 9-2-1.
10-2-1.
10-2-1. Okay, so Pete, get ready here because this be under our hockey portion with this.
Well, I
Okay,
think we
come
should, well, are we going to just still do our picks because we're
That's
running a little
what-
late?
I
so.
Okay,
say-
so we're gonna do the picks right now, Pete. So
Okay.
here we go. So first of all,
I think we should just skip the picks this week.
Well,
we'll
I
do it
would.
quick.
Well, I would go with your assessment of the 5 best teams. I would agree with that.
Okay.
so
I
real
would agree
quick.
with that.
So it's a consensus.
I would
Okay,
agree
it's a
with that,
consensus.
yeah.
So we're going to be really quick. First of all, we have to justify the fact that we are now picking Saturday night hockey games. So Pete, real
Okay.
quick, give us your team. Away we go. Wait. I'm going to.
I'll name the games. So first of all,
wait. We have to tell you what a great prognosticator my good man Millennium Inc. did last week.
Oh, good.
Out
Okay.
of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I don't have to tell you how many wins you had, do you? You do want to know? Do you really want to know?
I tell people don't bet on hockey games. So
I don't either. Okay.
Yeah,
So
hockey
anyways,
is-
I didn't do that well myself. I only had 9 right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and that's not a very good percentage. And I'm just going
I
to
had
let
even less.
my
Okay.
my colleague just had a little bit less.
Okay, so
let's go. Here we
we'll start off 1 o'clock. Columbus at Detroit. Elvis Merzlikins versus. Well, he's expected for Columbus. Ville Husso confirmed in net for Detroit.
I would say Detroit.
I'm saying Detroit.
I'm saying Detroit. They seem like they're. This Larkin guy seems to be.
Okay, make the quick
Line
pick
up.
because we got other picks to make.
Yeah, I'll take
I love
Detroit
that.
too.
Yeah,
At
we
3
got-
o'clock, we have Dallas at Winnipeg. It's going to be. Well, it's expected to be Ottinger versus Hellebuck, but no goalie's been confirmed yet.
That's
I
what
say
a great
Winnipeg.
goalie. You're
I
taking
go
the
Winnipeg.
Jets? You're
I'm taking the Jets.
I'll take Dallas.
I'm taking Dallas for the upset too. Okay.
7 o'clock. This is the big one. Toronto is at home against Vancouver. Thatcher Demko expected in net for Vancouver. Ilya Samsonov confirmed in net for Toronto.
I say the Leafs.
I got a hunch that the Leafs are going to show up because it's
Yeah.
a big game, and this
Yeah.
year
It's
a
every
big
time
Canadian-
they
I
have a
have
game,
a feeling about
It's
that
a big
too.
game against a Canadian team.
Although
I think.
Leafs against Vancouver, those
Yeah.
games can get weird.
Yeah.
always, but we're all taking the Leafs, right? We're crossing.
Yeah,
the
I'm
Leafs.
taking
Another
the Leafs.
Canadian matchup. Calgary is in Ottawa. Markstrom expected for Calgary. Corpusalo expected for Ottawa.
I'll take Ottawa.
Sends
I'm
it
going
is.
Ottawa.
I'm
I'm going
going.
I'm
Ottawa.
going to take Calgary.
I'll take Calgary.
I'm gonna. You're gonna take Calgary, okay? I'm gonna say not Calgary because of the back-to-back. They're gonna have a crazy game against Toronto, and they're gonna be hungover, and that's it.
I think they're going to be pissed because they're going to lose to Toronto tonight.
Okay, so we have our thing there. Next, bro.
Boston at Montreal. Jeremy Swayman expected for Boston. He has a perfect record on the year. And Jake Allen expected for Montreal. I'm
I
taking the
hate to
Bruins.
say it. I'm taking the Bruins. I hate to say it, but I think the Bruins will win that game.
I think
They're
it-
playing better right now.
Next.
Arguably the best team in the league.
Next.
Yeah, next.
Next.
Who's your pick?
Come on. Come on.
I don't know what that means.
That means I'm a disciple.
You're taking the Habs?
I'm taking them all day. We're going to pull up
Okay.
that's a real rivalry in the NHL, not this fake
Yeah.
Montreal-Toronto rivalry. Continue.
Well, it was a rivalry in the 60s. It's a good rivalry then. Montreal. and
Anyways,
Toronto. Anyway.
Carolina at Tampa. Ranta expected for Carolina. Johansson expected for Tampa Bay.
I'm taking the Bulls. because they've been playing great hockey. And let me ask you this. When I said I still think Kucherov is top 5, bro, and you said, get out of here. Who's leading the league in scoring?
I know. It's not just about points, though.
He's playing great
He's
hockey.
top 10. I wouldn't say he's top 5. He's top 10.
Having a great season, though, eh?
Sure,
He's
sure.
doing great. Okay,
It's
who do
been,
you-
but it's like not even, what, a quarter of the season
15,
yet.
not too small.
I'll take Tampa as well.
You're taking Tampa? Who do you
I'll take Tampa.
Across the board. okay.
Washington at the New York Islanders. Kemper is expected for Washington. Sorokin expected for the Islanders.
I'm taking the Islanders, I think.
I'm going to take Washington. They're looking a little hot lately.
Yeah?
Yes, yeah.
And the Islanders have not been convincing.
Okay.
Is it in New York?
It's in New York.
Okay,
I'll
you're,
take
you
that.
want, you're taking...
I'm taking the road team.
Okay, I'm not. I'm taking the
I'm
Islanders at
taking
home.
the
Yeah,
Islanders.
they're pretty good at home.
I'm taking the Islanders.
7:30, Buffalo at Pittsburgh. Uka Pekalukin expected for Buffalo. Christian Jari expected for Pittsburgh.
Who do you like in this game?
Nobody.
Thank you.
Nobody,
Thank you.
yeah.
Correct.
They're
answer.
Somehow
both
Pittsburgh
crap.
pulled one out last night in L.A., though.
What's wrong? Yeah.
But, like, I don't know.
How
Coming
did they
back
beat
east,
LA
that might
last
hurt. I have
night?
no idea. I'm taking Buffalo, though.
And I'm still liking LA as a
I
team.
can't believe I'm taking Buffalo, but I
Yeah,
am.
I am taking Buffalo. There's
Okay.
a guy at my local gym who comes in, hey, what'd you think about the Sabres? I'm like, look, the Sabres suck. Why do you always come in and talk? But he loves the Sabres. He's from Toronto, and he loves
Yeah,
the
but
Sabres.
I went to school with a few of those.
I
Yeah,
did too. So you
Sabres.
taking the Sabres?
Taking the Sabres.
Who is it? It was Sabres?
Buffalo at Pittsburgh.
You know what? I'm going to take Pittsburgh just because I can't stand the Buffalo Sabres or their fans. I can't
Okay.
stand them at all.
In
I like
any
their
event-
jerseys, though.
Okay.
I like the 1970s Buffalo jerseys. But
Arizona at Nashville. Connor Ingram expected for Arizona. UC Saros expected for Nashville.
I'm only taking the Predators at home because I think that could be the worst game of the night.
Yeah, I'm taking Nashville at home because Arizona, I think they can only win at home.
That's what I'm starting
Yeah.
to think.
Okay,
too.
I'll take Nashville.
Into the 9 o'clock. St. Louis at Colorado. Binnington expected for St. Louis. Georgiev expected for Colorado. Give me the Avalanche all day.
Colorado's going to win that.
And you know what, bro? Colorado's been a funny team, eh?
Yeah.
They get whipped, and then they whip somebody, and then they get in dogfights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just a weird
Yeah.
team. But their record's great, thow.
Yep, 8-4.
Their record's good, so you can't doubt them, but they're just weird.
Edmonton is in Seattle. Stuart Skinner expected for Edmonton. Philip Grubauer expected for Seattle.
I'm taking Seattle all day.
Okay, well, I'm taking the Oilers for a bounce back because I think the Kraken are overrated. They're going to be middle of the road.
Well,
too.
They're
they're
better than
overrated, but they're better than Edmonton.
Yeah, they are
They're
too.
better
But
than
are
the
they in a
Oilers.
playoff spot
God.
right now? Are they in a playoff
Those are
spot right now?
horrible.
The
They
Kraken?
are not.
No, they're not. No, I think the Kraken is not that good.
I'm taking Seattle.
Okay, 2 Seattles and 1 Oilers.
Then
The
last
last
but-
game of the night.
Last but not least, Philadelphia is in LA to take on the Kings. Peterson expected a net for Philly, and Talbot expected a net for LA. Give me the Kings.
All
Yeah,
day.
I'll
And you
take
know
the
what
Kings,
happened? Here's
yeah.
one of our theories about sports. Here's what happened to the Kings. You know why they lost to Pittsburgh? They just had a 4-game road streak, and they won every game. So they came home, and their girlfriends or wives are waiting for them. So guess what? They had duties
Oh, yeah.
to perform.
Definitely.
Their legs just weren't up for the game. So they're
Yeah.
going to be pissed about that,
Yeah.
and they're going to slaughter the
you
Flyers.
know what? That's a great point because two coaches in the 1950s, and I think they knew each other, had the Tuesday rule. Paul Brown of the Cleveland Browns, who coached Jim Brown, they fell out and Paul Brown was fired. He had the Tuesday rule where you weren't supposed to have relations with your girlfriend or wife after Tuesday. Now, I'm not sure everybody followed it, but also Eddie Shore, who coached Don Cherry, also had the same Tuesday rule. He even brought the wives into the dressing room and said, "You women are giving them too much sex." Okay, so and that's a true story. Those are true stories.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
one
What year
last
is that? Are we
The 50s. What I said.
One
What you
last-
said.
Okay. Okay.
And I thought you were old school.
I am. I'm very old school.
Well, I'm saying him. I thought was old school.
No, I'm
Yeah,
very old.
but-
You make him look
Even
like a
more.
young buck.
I thank you very much. I live in the 2020s.
I live in the 2020s too.
I
I
live
live
in
in them. I just
2020s.
say
Either way,
it's a story.
We have to unfortunately talk about something really
Yes.
bad that happened, or this happened a while ago, but this is
Okay.
coming up now.
Anyways, I'm glad you wanted to bring it up. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, so
Go
another, the video coach that, we don't need to go into details. We all know what happened with the Chicago Blackhawks. Another victim came out basically with the same story. It's just sad. It's just sad.
Okay, so if you don't know the story, you know
Yeah.
there's a scandal in Chicago.
Right.
We're going to put a period on the sentence here. I tried to give Quinville the light of day because I say, what's the difference between what's going on? Who knows what? Same with Stan Bowman because he's upstairs. Nah, man, I gotta push all the way back on that.
Right.
These guys are never going to get in an arena again. Never get in a dressing room
I
again.
hope not.
Never going to get into the Hall of Fame.
Never
probably.
going to get in the
Yeah.
Hall of Fame because I don't care how much you want to win. And winning is everything. But is it at the price of taking away someone's humanity?
No, it's not.
No,
Especially
not.
Quenville gave this guy a letter of recommendation to work with children.
Yeah.
Quinville,
With
you know what
kids.
I mean?
That's horrible.
That's bad old
Yeah.
school. They
And
all
yeah,
look the
that's
other
right.
way.
Yeah,
That's
the old boys club.
Yes,
the old
everyone
boys
looked
club.
the other
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
and it didn't
Looked
work.
the other way.
And
yeah.
those old boys club things got to go.
Yeah.
There's no, especially at the house that happens. If you'll know one thing about us, we do not tolerate anything where you cross the line on morals and
Sexuality,
human
those
rights,
things,
and
yeah.
all those things.
Yeah.
No.
Horrible.
That's
Anything that does permanent damage.
Yeah.
You got it.
Gordon, I remember the
So
whole
we
Gordon
banned them.
Stuckless affair. I don't think you were very young if you were alive then. The Gordon
We don't
Stuckless
want to
affair.
bring up the Gordon
Okay.
Stuckless
So,
affair.
Yeah, that's
okay?
another old school thing.
Bye.
No, but what I'm saying is,
no. We just said
it's
we put a
it's wrong.
period on the
It's wrong,
sentence.
yeah.
We didn't want to talk about those
Okay.
things
All right.
anymore. We're going to bring up that
I'm just-
yo-yo. Please,
Let's move on.
Please, thank you.
So
Okay.
we'll move on to the other
My-
big winter sport here in Toronto. of
Okay,
course,
so
the NBA.
can I have my little say in here really quick because we're not going to spend a lot of time on it
Right.
because we got football to do and we're running really late. But the bottom line is this. Let's go back 10 days ago into this rabbit hockey base that we have that moves the city all the time. And the other Toronto team kind of stubbed their toe. So what happened?
1-3 start.
Okay, so everybody pissed on my Toronto Raptors. And I said this, okay, and I've been saying this now, and it's here, and they've proven it to me. You can win in the paint. If you go into the paint, the Toronto Raptors came
can.
back from San Antonio. They had a signature win 2 nights ago. They went into Dallas, who was 8-1, undefeated at home, shook down the defense and told that bitch Luka Doncic, you ain't winning tonight. And they were badass.
Bitch.
Please.
Raptors have the 7th best defensive rating in the NBA. As
Seventh,
well.
it's seventh best, and it's only going to get better because they got to clue in those first few games that their numbers were horrible. But if you go back to the last few games, like people are like, all of a sudden on the NBA TV, they're looking over because we have a Scotty Barnes that I think me and my son are going to go to the game and we're going to wear Scotty Barnes jerseys with no shirts. Just the Scotty Barnes.
That's awesome.
We're going to go do it. And but anyways, I've been a big Scotty Barnes fan, as you would know. But the other guy that I've said that I think is a key to this team is Anunoby. That's why
100%.
Masai didn't trade him. I'm saying every deal that came up this summer with the
Everyone
Raptors,
wanted Anunoby.
Everyone wanted Anunoby, and I'm going, no. We could have made some moves if we gave up Anunoby. You want Anunoby on your team now? And he's hitting the 300%. But what I really like about Toronto is this. This NBA stuff is out of control with jacking up threes. It's my
me
biggest
too.
pet
I agree.
peeve, okay? So what happens is Toronto's not a very high scoring percentage on 3 points.
Good.
And Rakovic, our new coach.
Toronto's just not a very high scoring team at all this year.
The Raptors?
Yeah.
No.
No.
But what we're doing is our defense is solid and we're scoring in the paint.
That's right.
We controlled against Dallas.
But
in
you
their
and I
house.
are old school. We remember kick it in, kick it out, kick it in. Drive the lane, the sky hook. The hard in the paint game was in the 80s, which was the
We're
decade
back
where I
to
really
the
watched
80s.
that. But that style is a style I like.
Okay,
I like that.
I agree,
like that style.
I love that style too.
Yeah.
I'm an old school Piston fan.
Yeah.
We're talking about the NBA right now.
Yeah,
It's a
but I like that
sloppy
style.
mess of guys
Yeah.
that all think that they're Steph
Three.
Currys.
Yeah,
okay?
I don't like the 3-point contest. It's not basketball. to me.
Okay, but wait a second here. So you're
not
looking
basketball.
I don't
around
mind
to
the
me.
3-point shot. What really
when it's
gets
going,
me is
when it's hot.
Sure, but what gets me is when guys are just taking these like dumb shots early in the shot clock.
Oh,
That's poison.
my
Yeah.
God! You know what? That's one of the reasons we made the comeback against San Antonio.
Yeah.
because they started jacking them up with 20 seconds in the clock. We blocked them out, came down, and how many scored? We outscored the paint. I think we outscored Dallas in the point. We won by 7 or 8, but I think we outscored Dallas in the paint by I think it was 28 points.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So
Yeah, well,
big shout out to our Raptors guys.
And
you
I
know?
mean, hey, like Masai's kind of made his reputation on this. When everyone zigs, you zag.
Exactly. And
Everyone's going to play perimeter. Okay, we'll dominate the inside.
Oh, and by the way, we've got some of the best perimeter defenders in the league
Yeah.
when you run out there with Anobi, Scotty Barnes. Otto Porter's finally showing that he is worth something. If Boucher doesn't be an idiot and plays his game, we're good.
Schroeder's a great defender.
Oh, that's going to get to. Not only that, and he's a good floor leader.
Yeah.
So you could take it away from him. But we have one pet peeve here. About the Toronto Raptors, and we've agreed. I think he's already talked to the flight company. I've got the cab pulling up to his house.
Yeah.
Siakam have a few more good games because the quicker we get you out of the town, the happier I'm going to be.
Now,
Pascal
he's-
Siakam has
how high
become
do you
the
have him
GOAT
on like
now,
the bitch list in
Oh
this
my
city?
God.
Oh, okay. And
He's
this,
up there with the Italians on TFC for me.
Then he's number one because we don't know enough about TFC. So he's got to be
We know
that
enough
Italian
that like
guy.
Insigne and Bernadeschi are kind of not getting along.
Oh, really?
Oh, that we've talked about this.
That's true.
This is
That's true.
news.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm saying he is like world, and especially when he tried to turn things around at the beginning of the season. I love Toronto bullshit.
Yeah.
Stop it. The thing about Siakam is this.
PR.
Exactly. He's had a great game the other night, and everyone's jacking up more shots. I hope that the coach uses him in context of the game, because let's get something straight. Siakam's still a good ball player.
Absolutely.
When he comes to the game to play his game. The last couple games, he's been playing in context, not just firing up the shots, because I'm Pascal. I'm the number one option on this team. No, there's 2 or 3 options to go number one. And another thing we have to talk about, too, is Poto protecting the rim.
Yeah, that was a big piece missing from the last couple
he's
seasons.
really been protecting the rim. So with the defensive prowess and learning to go into the paint when you're not making the threes is the formula the Raptors will at least get to the play-in. They got Boston tomorrow night in Boston. Like that's
be
too.
tough,
right.
Like I said, if we won one or two of those games, I'd be happy, and we've already done.
Right.
I just want to say one thing about. I don't understand this in-season tournament. I think it's kind of like weird. I don't know. We're going to get to
I don't
the
know
end,
what it means.
but we're gonna discuss that
It
at
means
the end
money.
of the show. We're going to get to that at the end of the show. Don't worry. We got a little subject coming up, which brings us up to something that our good friend Peter made me question some of the reasons that he had that microphone in his hand to try to not say that the NFL is not the craziest, biggest run-the-world league going. There's no league in the world run better than the NFL.
I didn't say. Well, I mean, I'd say.
Do you
I'd
diss
say,
the NFL on any level when it
No,
comes
I
to
would
money
say-
or not?
No, well,
They're
money-
flying
okay,
them to
okay, hold on a second.
Frankfurt. They're
Hold on a
going
second,
here.
hold on a second.
They
The
play
national-
4
I
games
said-
in a row.
listen.
Stop it.
I said that I grew up.
What year was that?
watching the NFL.
19 what? 72?
So-
I started watching in 72, not 79.
Okay.
How many times do I bring up 1972? I bring up Billy Sims.
No,
Only
what
when you
I
talk
said-
about the Habs.
No, what I said
Then you- all you guys
was
think
that
it's still the
what I said
70s.
was that I grew up watching the NFL. I prefer the CFL game. I prefer a game which has more punt returns and kickoff returns.
wait.
I
We
prefer
know
the
that.
style
We're
of
not
players.
here to discuss
I
that.
like that. Okay.
We're not here to
I like
discuss
that.
that. We're
That's all.
here to okay, yeah, you know what? I like blondes with long legs. Okay, so here's the deal. The bottom line is we're here to talk about today the
Okay,
state of
sure.
the NFL where it is here.
It's a great league. It's well
so
run.
now I cannot let you come on my show and ever say something about you're going to move the monolith that is the NFL. Stop it right now, or
The
go
monolith
put your
is
hard
you.
work
When
shirt
did
on
I
and
say
go to
that? When
Yeah,
did I
take it-
say I was going to do that?
We're going to check the tape, and you had some sketchy things to say about the NFL. That's all I'm saying,
Well,
and I'm going.
I mean, I think
and you
that.
couldn't back them up.
No.
That's all.
Hold on a second. I think that the great
Next.
players that have left the CFL and gone to the NFL have proven that our greatest
How many?
players can play there.
Stop it! You're
Tons
out of
of
your
them.
mind.
It's a handful.
No,
It's a
there are
handful.
tons of them.
Buddy, you know
There are
who?
tons
Do
of
you,
them.
do you
What?
know? Do you know Luke
Dude,
Wilson?
Dude, let's go. If
No.
you wanna go,
Hey, stop, because we haven't got enough time. Because we got to make picks and stuff. Okay.
Because you're not letting me.
No,
say
'cause
it.
that's
But there's
bullshit. We
tons
don't wanna
of
hear
guys
that. I'm
who
gonna
have
tell
gone
you
from
this.
our league to their league,
Listen,
and not just
buddy.
the most popular players. Lots of other guys that you don't know.
The only guy that's like really like made an
No.
impression is Warren Moon.
Jeff Garcia.
No,
Okay.
And a few wide
no,
receivers.
there's been-
Okay.
No, there's been
Peter,
way more
stop.
than that.
Stop for one
There's been
second.
way more
Okay.
than that.
Stop for 1 second. I'm gonna tell you this. Do you know who Luke Wilson is?
Yeah,
Who is Luke Wilson?
Oh my
I'm
god.
thinking of.
You might get
NFL?
this might fail to get you on the show for a long time, buddy. You don't know who Luke Wilson is?
I've heard the name.
Okay,
the
so you
actor.
got to bring a little
Yes.
bit more research to the table when you come to the house that happens. So what is that Luke Wilson is a top football analyst
Right.
for the NFL. I went to high school with his dad. No big
yeah.
deal. He's down from Southern Ontario. But
Right.
this guy his rookie year, won the Super Bowl with Seattle. So he got a little bit of street cred, doesn't he?
Sure.
In the
He was a good tight end.
Very good tight end. Played about 7 or 8 years, had a great career, made some money. Bottom line, lives in Oakville. Bottom line is, what this guy has recently talked about is a CFL to the NFL, and he said what the NFL does is fill up the practice squads. Because if you make it, you can make more money than you do in the NFL. But what it does is you'll probably never have a career in the NFL. So what do you want to do is there's a big thing about it now is, do you want to be a star in the CFL and make $75,000? Or do you want to play on the...
Or make $600,000 if you're the quarterback. Because that's what Toronto's quarterback
That's the only guy. Come on,
no,
stop
there's
it.
4 or 5 guys who make that.
Okay, Pete, you got to listen to what we're saying here so you get in context of this, because we're not
Those
talking
guys are the
anymore
exception
CFL.
rather than the rule.
No more CFL, because the CFL...
but there are, but the
buddy,
star guys do make good money. That's my
stop
point.
it. Yeah, no, they don't. He's the highest paid guy in the thing like that. On that, there's a lineman that's second tier on Philadelphia that makes that kind of money. My point is this: what the CFL has done is fill the practice squad, and sometimes those guys get in games because you'll hear the guy at night goes, "Okay, he came in from practice squad. What is he doing? He's played 2 years in Calgary." Then you never see the guy when the injury guy comes back. So let's stop on the CFL stuff. What we want to get to is what's happening today.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to tell you is you should be able to say this with the help of gambling. There is nothing bigger in North America than NFL football.
I never said
Your
there
mother-
wasn't. I never said there wasn't.
You diss the league.
What did I say? What
CFL
exactly
is
was-
better. They
I
play
like
more
it.
games.
Well,
they do this.
Okay.
Nah, stop it.
No, look.
We're not talking about CFL anymore. Let's get right to the games.
They're
Stop.
two different games.
Okay,
Fair
that's
enough.
where we're
Let's move
talking.
on.
That's
Let's
what we're
move
trying
on.
to
Two
get.
different
Move
games.
on. Move on.
Power rankings. Jump
Okay.
right into it. Cruz.
First of all, what?
Who are your
First
power
of all,
rankings?
we're going to have a little quick review because we haven't got much time here. A quick review, like we did last time. How were your picks last week, there, buddy?
I did half decent, did I
Yes,
not?
you did. Yes.
I'm better at betting on football than I am at hockey.
Okay, so we're going to say here that we had a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 games. I think you had 9 right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
take
6,
that.
7, 8 every time. And you made that atrocious Jets call, which I believe if you could bring it back, you'd never make that call again. But there was some funny
If I had a
games.
time machine.
And you know the other thing, the other game that you picked that we both picked that were nuts, we both took the Rams, but didn't know Stafford wasn't
That's the thing,
started.
yeah.
If I had known that, I would.
How are we supposed to know that at
We
the
didn't
time?
know exactly. But that's the only other. But the other games are close, and you picked a couple good ones. We're liking the Browns. Okay, so let's get off to right now because it's the middle of the season. So the first thing we should be doing is, now that I know you're qualified to talk about the NFL, Pete, we're going to get to our power rankings. That you want to start?
Me?
Yeah, you want to start with it?
Sure. Baltimore finds their way into my power rankings.
Okay, what are you going from 5 to 1?
I'll go from 5 to 1.
5 is Baltimore. Okay.
Number 4 is your Detroit Lions.
Thank you very much.
Number 3, I'm keeping them there, even though you might think I'm crazy for it. San Francisco 49ers.
Really?
Yeah, they were 3 last week, and they had a bye week. So,
Okay.
number 2, Philly, and number 1, I still got Kansas City.
Okay, so things have changed in my world a bit, okay? Because you know where I'm going.
Miami and Cincinnati are my honorable mentions, by the way.
Okay, well, then I'm going to give San Francisco an honorable mention, but you still got the Chiefs at the top, right?
I do.
Okay, so my theory is this, Pete. I can't put San Francisco in my power rankings,
Right.
not only because they had a bye, but they lost 3 games in a row. But
Right.
he's going to give the numbers that'll back his argument. So if someone said they should be in there, we could argue about this for another hour. But I respect what he's doing, so I have a little bit differently. My number 5 team is my beloved Detroit Lions. They're in there. My number 4 team is the Cincinnati Bengals,
Ooh.
who have been
Oh, they're
coming
good.
there. Oh yes, they are, and they
playing
they are doing.
They
all
look
snap-
strong.
So like them, I'm keeping Philly at number 3.
Okay.
I still think Kansas City could win the Super Bowl, but they're number 2, and my new number 1 is the Baltimore Ravens.
Holy
all the way,
smokes.
Baltimore.
They're starting to look like a
Oh,
real Super Bowl
my-
contender.
look at what they
The way
did.
they smoked Seattle last year.
And
Holy
Detroit.
smokes.
We were supposed to be big
Yeah,
scoring
yeah.
teams. And you know what Lamar's record is against the NFC? It is insane. It's like 18-1 or 18, 16
does well.
If
It
he
is
makes it to the Super
insane.
Bowl,
Yeah,
you
if he
watch
makes
out.
it there.
His record against the NFC, when I heard his record, I went, are you kidding me? Because they say nobody knows how to, because they don't play him enough, the NFC. You get
That's
them once
fair.
every year. They say, so how do you replicate him in practice? Who do you get the rabbit to run for him, right? You don't. But when I think if you check it out, it's insane. Only one or two losses in his career against NFC teams. When I heard the number,
Holy
and
smokes.
here's the thing that got me about Baltimore. Those goddamn front linemen and back end on their defense is sick. Those boys.
Those guys are mutants.
Oh, I'm telling you, and I meant to write their names down, but the front four, and they've got Jadeveon Clowney, who's come back, and they picked up Van Noy from your old New England guy, and these guys are all playing like they got fire in their eyes, and not only that, they can rush the ball. Did you see Lamar? They won by what last week? A bag load?
Was it 37-3?
Did you hear his press conference?
No.
Sorry to all my fantasy fans, but I didn't really have to score today.
He was apologizing to me directly there.
That's what he said. He's like, hey, fantasy fans, sorry about the numbers, but, we won by 20. What am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? I died laughing at that tournament. Oh, yeah, it was just great. But I really think that they're, like, we're going to see now because they play Cincinnati in 2 weeks. They played Cincinnati earlier, but that didn't matter because when they played Cincinnati, Joe Burrow was on one leg. Look at Joe Burrow now. Look at Joe. Man. I'm telling you. So
he's Joe Cool again.
Oh, he's very cool. So do you have your power rankings? What are you going to do?
Well, I would say I would go top to bottom. I would go Kansas City still number one. I would say right now I'm thinking the Cincinnati Bengals number 2. I'm thinking Baltimore number 3. And Detroit number 4. And I don't know. I guess you know what? I will go out. I'll go out in left field. I'll say Miami number 5.
No Philly. Wow.
No Philly.
Yeah, no, actually Philly would be a better choice. Philly would be a better choice. You're right. That is.
You're glad your lawyer was in the room.
No, Philly's a better choice. Yeah, Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback, and he would be. He's one of the guys. He'd be perfect for the CFL. His size.
We're not talking about the CFL anymore, buddy.
But since I'm a CFL fan, I'm just saying he would be a fantastic. He would be a fantastic player in the CFL simply because of his size and his quickness. He's the right size, the right quickness.
would be great. We're not going there right now. What we're going to do is we're talking about the mid-season thing, and we're talking NFL here, okay?
So
we're talking NFL.
Yeah. Mid-season awards. I don't know. Like I was just thinking, like Rookie of the Year, MVP. I don't know.
That's all we got.
Yeah, okay.
And Defensive Player of the Year. Who do you think those guys are?
Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay, so I'm saying this.
I don't know.
There's only 3 candidates right now for me that would be MVP candidates, and that's Lamar, Burrow, and Mahomes.
Yeah.
Who do you want to take? Then we got like half a season to go, so that
maybe Tua should be in that conversation as well.
I don't think so. I think they're going to fall off. Every time those big games come, I mean, he could still have the numbers.
But if you're just judging by the games that have been played, he should be in the conversation.
Okay, maybe he should be. But what if Buffalo runs the table? That puts Josh Allen back.
Do you really think Buffalo's running the table?
Not really, but I'm saying
the only thing Buffalo's going to run is golfing at the end.
No, I think that Buffalo. I just think they need because they've lost those guys on the back end. And if you look at this,
but Josh Allen, he's like
but look at the game last time. He threw that one interception. But, buddy, first of all, that pass, there was 3 plays that I thought ruined it for Buffalo because they made the shot. The one play was that horrible roughing the passer, horrible call. The second was the interception on the gunslinger move was pretty bad because he
had a few of those this year.
Okay, but that's the only one he threw, and he tried to gun it in there. He just got that cockiness.
But like it's consistently that with Josh Allen, where like he's making plays where like what's he thinking?
Okay, but here's the other big play. When Kincaid fumbled that ball from that pass, that was on the 15-yard line. So when you really think about it, Cincinnati didn't blow them out of the water.
No, of course
not. With about
3
3 or 4 plays. So I'm not counting Buffalo.
But they took care of business, and Buffalo couldn't.
They certainly did. That's why I'm saying. So that's what you're saying. So I'm going to say, who do you like then?
For MVP?
Yeah. Who would you say?
I'd give it to Lamar right now.
I'm not arguing with you there. I'm not arguing. But I'm saying the other ones, Aaron, because we got 8 more games to go. That's why I brought up the other 2, especially Burrow, because he's looked ridiculous.
He's up there.
Who's your Rookie of the Year? It's obvious.
C.J. Stroud.
Isn't this guy? What is after last night when you looked at Carolina and their quarterback situation?
Well, you know the story there, right?
No.
The Carolina owner basically.
Yeah, I
So
saw
they were
that.
looking at C.J.
That was
Stroud,
a-
but the owner
that
said
was a
you're
horrible
taking
game.
Bryce Young.
Oh yeah, I heard that. They said you're taking Bryce Young because they were flipping it
Ugh.
up in the air. It doesn't look bad. And you know what?
When the owner is tampered, it always leads to good things, right?
But you know what the thing is, when I begin this
That was a
season,
horrible
and
game.
I should have brought
God.
it up this way, is that, remember, I had some things to say about Stroud because I see him a little bit more because I hate the guy. He played for Ohio State. So that's the end of the story. But I seen him enough to know that guy gave us trouble. You
No,
know?
Houston, all of a sudden, their future looks very, very,
Especially
very
with those
bright.
couple defensive guys they picked up
Yes.
with the extra thing because their defense is nothing to slouch
And they
about.
have, don't they have like Chicago's first round pick too this year?
No, Chicago's got both those. They got somebody else's, I forget.
They have someone's first
But
round
yeah,
pick.
but they got two first rounders again this year, and the coach is good. That Maceo guy, whatever his name is. So, rookie of the year, that's unanimous. We all think Stroud. Who do you think is rookie of the year, Pete?
Well, what I'll say is, I mean, looking at the rookies, I haven't seen anybody that I thought. I think right now for MVP, I would say I'm going to go out on a limb and say Cincinnati's quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay, go on a
He
limb.
he could be on his way.
We're all
Yeah.
saying Burrow.
To be fair.
I'm
Okay,
going. I'm
okay.
going with him for that.
Next, your rookie of the year. You going with Stroud, or do you know any rookies?
I
don't know any
haven't been
rookies.
looking at the
Okay,
rookies. I've been
so-
looking at the star guys.
Okay, so
and I think Burrow.
some of the
is,
rookies they're there. Okay, he's MVP.
Okay.
So let's move on. You probably do not have any idea who the defensive players of the year should be, right?
Nope.
Okay,
Not
so
really.
we'll just cut to the chase on this one really quick. I think there's only 3 candidates, maybe 4.
For me, it's Myles Garrett.
Bro, I got him number 1 too. He's just an animal. Now, if T.J. Watt or Max Crosby or who am I missing? I'm missing somebody.
Micah Parsons up there in the betting, but I don't think he's
I think he's overrated now. I
Yeah.
get too much of that Dallas Cowboys. By the way, Dallas Cowboys make me sick. I'm tired of those
Nick
mothers.
Bosa, Fred
Oh yeah,
Warner.
yeah.
I don't like them
And the
either. I've
guy-
never
and the
been
guy on Philadelphia. That
I've never
Riddick
been
guy.
a huge Cowboys fan. I've never been a
Man,
Cowboys fan at all.
And you got to realize too, some of these guys in the back end should get some credit. Like Darius Slay is holding it down in Philadelphia, even though he doesn't have the interceptions. The guy in Dallas has got 3 or 4 interceptions. Cincinnati's suddenly got a couple of beasts on their line, but we'll stick to that to keep on going. A couple things I want to bring up that we should, before we go to what we're going to go along to, is before we talk about it is nobody's giving the Jacksonville Jags any love yet. So
There again, they're a sneaky team.
aren't they? So now we're going to look at right now. And we're going to talk about really quick because I don't know if you've been up on the divisions. We're going to go through the divisions really quick because we always make it
I
there.
don't think we have time for that. We're already at almost 2 hours. I think we should just give a little highlights to some good games from this past week and then just get to the picks.
Okay, I was just going to say that I want to just bring up, put on record, I think the toughest division in football is the AFC North. I think 3 teams from that division are going to the playoffs.
You're finally on my side.
Yes, I got to go with it. Not NFC North. Yeah, the North. That's the Baltimore.
Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
Baltimore, yeah,
And I
that
think
division.
3 teams.
That's the old AFC Central. Pittsburgh used to be in that.
That
Used to
was
be
then.
in
This is now.
Used to be in another division.
Okay, so we're talking about that's the toughest division in football, and we'll conclude with everything else. Want to get right to our picks?
Yeah, let's get right into it. Let me just pull it up. By the
What?
way, just last week, Houston-Tampa, best game of the week by far.
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, I was up there for him, but I'm just.
Oh, but come on, back and forth. Those
Oh, it
punts
was great.
were
I
punch.
seen every down. But I just want to say one thing for the NFL. And to my friend over here who doesn't seem to understand how well that the NFL markets NHL markets it.
It
Just a
does
second,
market
Pete.
well.
Did you
I've-
see
I
what went
said
on last
that.
week? Did you see what they did last week? Let's talk about this. 9:30 in the morning, Miami Chiefs.
Kansas City, yep.
Noon,
Yeah.
Baltimore Seahawks, prime game. 4 o'clock, Philadelphia and Dallas. 8 o'clock,
Buffalo, Cincy.
Buffalo Cincy. It's a lineup to
We
die
don't talk
for.
about Monday night.
No,
but-
they have no. The
they wreck
National
the other
Football
games.
League.
They is
The
just
National
so bad.
Football League is a marketing machine. Like I said, I got into football partly because of NFL films and how they marketed. They had the
But
they had the
it's
16
different in the
mil-
States, though. Like, football is
Yeah.
just a religion down there.
Yeah.
It's,
Thank
you can't compare it to
Anywhere
anywhere
else
else
in
in
the
the
Well, it
sport.
is in certain parts of Canada. It is in certain in Quebec. It's massive. In Quebec, the Canadian the university
Why are we bringing up
teams.
Quebec? I thought we were done with the
Hold on
Habs.
a second. in Quebec, Canadian university teams are on the CBC, so it's massive there. It's just not massive in Ontario. That's what
What's
it
not
is.
massive in Ontario?
I said, "What? Football?
You should. Okay, this is
football
you're
is not as big.
Okay, I gotta kill him.
It is not as big.
I gotta kill him.
It is not as
We
big.
gotta
It
move
is
on.
not as
Buddy,
big.
right now, if you go to the NFL office, Toronto and the GTA spends the third highest money.
That is not.
There is going to be
that
a
is
league
not,
here. Stop
no, hold on a
it. Let's
second.
go on.
That
make
is
our
not
picks.
football in your country. That is football in someone else's country. It's easy for a so-called Canadian to sit around and watch TV and watch somebody else play football and watch other fans go to their games. The people
That
in
is
Quebec
some of
love
the
football.
biggest bullshit I
the
have
people in
ever
Quebec
heard
love football.
in my
They
life.
support high school
Okay, let's get
football
to our picks.
and they support their league. You're not, you supporting an NFL team is not. That's football fandom. So a guy
What?
going, a
What
guy,
does that
a
mean,
guy
football
going.
fan? Hold on, Peter. Back
Go
up.
on.
Back up the
Yeah,
truck.
no.
Thank
We're
you.
gonna
Football
get into
fandom,
this.
so what does that mean?
So well, what it means is that when you are a football fan, you take part.
Four.
You take part in high school football, in the colleges, in the universities, in the pros that exist in your country. The people in Quebec take part in that. The people in Toronto are posers. They sit around with
Posers?
their Buffalo Bills jerseys and
Who
talk
is
about
this guy?
Who is this guy?
being football fans. No. Football, if you look at how the Americans support football, and I like what they do, the American supports the Pop Warner League. He supports the junior high. He supports the colleges. He supports the big universities. And he supports the
we're getting
NFL.
off sex. Let's
That's
get
a
the pop.
football fan.
Okay,
That's a football fan.
Okay,
So,
now stop
the
it.
NFL, I buy it.
Well,
Because they're real fans.
Hold on. So,
they're real fans.
So to be a hockey fan, you gotta watch OHL. You gotta watch everything, is what you're saying.
what
Otherwise, you're just a poser.
Football is different. In football,
What?
football is totally
Peter,
different.
come on.
Is
Come
high
on.
school hockey the same as high school football? Is it as
In
popular
some
anywhere?
level, yes, it
Absolutely
is.
not.
Maybe in some places, but
Okay,
it's
but
maybe
we're
not.
not talking
Minnesota.
about that.
Maybe in Minnesota, it's
Oh,
not.
okay.
Football is a different thing.
Okay, so let's get back
Football is a
to our
different thing.
original premise.
But in Quebec, they
Nah,
support football.
Fuck Quebec.
No,
Here's
I don't
the deal.
fuck Quebec.
Fuck
I like
Quebec.
them. I like
I don't
them.
give a shit
I
about
like
them.
them.
Buddy, you're going way
And
off
they're- and
topic.
Laval
Buddy,
wins championships.
Buddy, listen. Here's the deal. You've come very unprepared for what we were talking about in the NFL. It is quite obvious. People
All
are
right.
going to watch this show and say, who is this guy that we're talking about in the NFL? I'm going to hear that right now. So when I say all that, we say we thought we'd give an Argo fan the opportunity to glorify the great thing that's
We
happening in
did.
Toronto.
We did.
And then
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, great.
I
Because
appreciate
when
it.
it comes to the NFL thing, buddy, when I listen back to this tape, I'm going to say, did we have that guy on? Did we really have that guy on? So let's get to our NFL picks this week. I hope you know who's playing. So we'll start with the top.
Okay, so starting in Frankfurt, Germany, we have the Indianapolis Colts at the New England Patriots, if we can really call it that. Colts favored by 2 points.
I'm taking the Colts.
I'm taking the Colts too.
Oh, you're not sticking with
Oh,
your
it's,
team?
it's neutral ground. That's
You got that
Patriots.
beat?
I'll take the Colts.
Okay, it's
I'll take the
2.5.
Colts.
Okay,
I'll do that.
The Colts. Okay, we're going Texans.
Oh, hold on, let me do
Oh,
it.
yeah,
I
yeah,
got the
right,
order
so
here.
yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to be bouncing all over
Okay,
it.
good.
Green Bay at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers favored by 3.5. I'm taking the Steel Curtain at home.
All day long, bro.
Green
All
Bay
day
has
long.
not been anything to write home about this year.
And the only reason they won last week is because the Rams didn't have a quarterback.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna take Green Bay. I'm gonna take
Okay,
Green Bay.
Good for you.
We got New Orleans at the Vikings. Saints favored by 3 on the road.
This is going. This is
a weird one.
and that's going to be a great game because it's going to have implications. I think the Saints are going to win the division, but that's still a mess because I
it's
picked
still not-
Atlanta at the beginning of the year. Now I'm going. I don't know about that. So what did I take? What's the game is that again?
It's New Orleans at Minnesota. Saints favored by 3.
I have. That's the only game I didn't pick. Where's the Vikings? I don't have this on my list.
I'll take the Saints.
I took the Vikings.
I mean, either way, I don't feel too confident.
I don't either. I'm just saying. I think the Vikings have got something going on.
Vikings. I'll go
You
Vikings.
like the
Vikings?
Vikings too.
I like the
Okay,
Vikings.
next.
Houston Texans at the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals favored by 6.5.
Oh, Cincinnati will win that easily. They'll win that game.
I think so too.
Cincinnati will win.
I think it's going to be like close to that spread. I think Vegas may
You
be
got to
the winner
remember
here.
we're picking it by the spread.
Okay,
So
but I
it's the
think
point
yeah,
spread
but
of
I
6.5.
but I
I'm
think
still
but I
taking
think
the
they'll
Bengals.
I'll
cover
take the
that.
Bengals.
But I would take the Bengals. I think they'll cover the spread.
I think that's a good spread.
I think that it's going to be the kids not ready for some crazy defenses, and every defense in the AFC North is crazy.
Speaking of crazy defense in the AFC North, Cleveland at Baltimore.
Oh.
Ravens favored by 6.5 at home, I should say. Ravens, it was a rout the last time they were in Cleveland. I think they're going to smoke them
Baltimore.
again at home.
Baltimore.
Okay, 6.5. I don't like the spread.
Lamar
but I gotta
Jackson
take them. It's
is
gonna
a-
be late.
Ravens are
by
gonna
the
win by
way-
10.
By the way, I should be telling you the over/under is only 38.5 for that game.
It is.
Okay, next.
Another one with the low over-under. Tennessee at Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. Buccaneers favored by 1 at home.
39.5 said the over/under,
Yeah.
right? Which is another bullshit. I'm taking the Titans, and I don't know why.
Give me Tampa Bay.
I'm going
Okay.
to take Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Only 1 point. I'm
Gimme
comfortable with
game.
that.
I just think they're better. They're starting to look crazy.
Another interesting one to close out the 1 o'clock game. San Francisco at Jacksonville. I think San Francisco, or I should say 49ers favored by 3 on the road. I think 49ers going to be foaming at the mouth to get back in the win column. Give me the 49ers.
Okay, before I came here, look at I had all my picks, but I didn't have 2. Guess which one was it?
49ers.
I couldn't decide. You know, the Jags are sneaky, but I think they haven't beaten enough good teams. I'm
Yeah.
going to go with San Fran too, but I'm going to regret it if the Jags win because I'm going to tell you a little fact after this, so you'll notice that.
Oh, God.
What do you like?
Say it again.
San Fran at Jacksonville. San Fran
I
favored by
say
3.
San Francisco. They're looking pretty good.
Okay.
Next.
Into the 4 o'clock slate of games. Detroit at the LA
Ah,
Chargers.
come
Detroit is going to win
Yeah.
easy.
on.
That's easy.
No.
Lions favored by 3 on the road. I'm
The
taking
Los
the Lions.
Angeles Chargers should never have moved out of San Diego. As far as I'm concerned, never have moved out of San Diego.
I don't think that Baltimore should ever moved out of Cleveland.
Wow.
That's too long ago. Next.
Atlanta at Arizona. Atlanta favored by 2 on the road.
I'm taking it because Kyler's coming back, and whatchamacallit
I'm
is...
taking Arizona too. Give me the home dog.
Yeah, because they got some... not only that, they got some D. Like, they got an...
Arizona
underrated-
Cardinals.
Okay, Cards. Next.
425. Washington at Seattle. Seattle favored by 6 at home. Give me Seattle.
All day, I think
Yeah,
they're going to crush
Seattle.
them because after that horrible loss last week, it's like Detroit. When they came back afterwards, they did their thing.
They're
Seattle.
hungry.
Okay.
New York Giants at the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 17 at home. I still think that's.
That's the only one else I didn't pick. That's the other guy
I still
could-
think
The
give me
Cowboys.
the Cowboys.
The Cowboys.
Okay, gotta
I
take
have
the Cowboys.
Dallas defense in both my fantasy leagues. I'm expecting
Big
a
things.
big 20 points at least.
Okay, big things. Everyone's
Oh,
taking the Cowboys.
and get ready for a snooze fest of a Sunday nighter. We have the Jets at the Raiders. Jets favored by
yeah.
1 on the road. I don't know how. Give me the Raiders.
No.
I say the Raiders will win.
All day, because I don't know what's going on. The Raiders, they're having a party because they got rid of McDaniels, so they're good.
Did you see that?
Oh, that was
That
off
was
the
hilarious.
charts. Off the charts. And then we got the big Monday Nighter.
Denver at Buffalo. Buffalo favored by a touchdown at home.
By the way, nobody will be working in Tonawanda or Cheektowaga or any of those places on Tuesday because they're all going to be getting whaled on Monday night.
Oh, yeah.
Taking the Bills?
I'm taking the Bills.
I'm taking the
Bills
Bills.
all come back too. So,
And I guess we should just say at the end, Kansas City, the Rams, Miami, and Philly all in their bye weeks.
that's right. I forgot about that anyway. Okay, before we go, because the show's getting a little long here, we didn't mean to, so I'm going to cut to this really, really quick. But one of the things that has been really irritating me lately, and I don't know which one is worse, and maybe you guys can help me out, is
What's that?
it the alternate jerseys I've been seeing
Yeah,
on
I
teams?
hate that.
Or
I hate
is
some
it
of them.
the bad refereeing? Or is
So-
it that they put on the bad jerseys
No, I
and the
think
referees get bad?
I think the ultimate. I think the alternate jerseys are very ugly. Like
Okay.
Which
the
ones?
the Montreal Canadiens.
we
jersey.
don't have that one this year, thank God it's gone.
Yeah, okay, it's gone. That one's gone. So.
Okay, so
I
what
hate
I'm
the Leafs
getting...
alternate, the black.
What?
The
Yeah, that's
Leafs
You
alternate.
don't
horrible.
like those?
That's
But that's
ugly.
not
My
their
brother
colors.
wears that one.
I
Yeah.
thought that's the only one I've liked, to be honest with
Black's
you.
not Leaf color.
But the
Throw
black's
it-
not
throw
the
it in
Leafs
garbage.
color. That's
I don't
why.
like
And if I
those.
was a Leaf fan,
And we have a horrible record in those jerseys, too.
But I'm like
That's
you,
what I did.
because you didn't mind the blue Habs ones.
I full out said I like the blue.
I
Habs.
hate
I
them, but I
hate the-
kind of
I
like the
hate the
Toronto
Blues
ones.
Habs.
Anyways,
Blue
let's
Habs.
get to the point here really quick because the show's going too long.
Right.
Anyways, you got so many bad officiating moves. For example, you had that rushing the passer call against Buffalo. That was crazy. The World Series is now over. How the strike zone changed from the second inning to the seventh. How many times we talk about that? That drove me completely crazy.
Time to bring in the robotic home plate
No,
umpires.
we're never doing that. Number 3 is that I'm talking about with the refereeing is no more. Even though I really start watching a lot of hockey, I think the NHL's got the best refereeing of all 4 sports. I'm going to take that to the bank because but the one thing they do I don't like is the fact that they make the make-up calls.
Yeah.
If they
That's the
realize
worst thing.
everything, then they make a mistake.
But I think like the league's telling them to do that.
But every
they have to.
every league does that. Every sport does that.
Not as much. NHL's because in the NHL, so obvious they look at the tape and they go. They realize because the game is going so fast. They think the guy took the legs out. You call it. You can't call it back. And we don't want the eye in the sky looking at everything. But we should have some replays.
No,
more.
I do. I want the eye in the sky. I think I've said this before. 1 referee on the ice instead of 2. Then you have like a video referee upstairs.
you do.
I thought
You
they
need
have 2 on the ice
referees.
now and 2 linesmen, don't they?
No, but I'm saying get rid of 1 referee. Have it only 1 referee.
And put the other referee in the box?
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Okay, and the other thing that's driving me nuts, and I've never seen this, is that I don't understand this in-game tournament in the NBA. It's like certain nights these games count for it, and certain nights they don't do it. But I do,
it's set dates on the calendar.
yeah, okay, so now here's what Pete, we've been saying this forever on this show now. Gambling has changed the face of everything.
Yes, it has.
And the other thing that has changed the world is TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok. Oh,
That
definitely.
is the responsibility for these god-awful, stupid uniforms because if my Detroit Lions come out looking like they're going to yoga class one more time, I'm going to lose my shit.
Oh, you know it's going to happen at least 1 or 2 more times.
And the helmets. Cut the
Yeah.
helmets. But let's get one more thing here. When I think about gambling and the TikTok and you're changing the things is I seen something this week that really made me open my eyes. Is Golden State one of the glamour teams of the NBA?
Sure.
They're
Yeah,
playing
definitely.
OKC, up-and-coming team. Winning by 5. Do you know who Draymond Green is?
Yeah.
Of course.
He's the Brad Marchand of the NBA. He's on our top bitch list.
Yeah.
We know that. Okay. So Draymond Green goes up there. First of all, they made a bad traveling call over and under on OKC when Golden State was behind by 6 with 3 minutes left. Here's the sequence.
Right.
They got the ball back. They made a shot. They're down by 4. Okay. Draymond Green comes through the middle, and the elbow was like a Tyson to the right cross. Puts the kid down, the second-year kid, what's his name from OKC? He could be Rookie of the Year, too, with one
Holmgren.
bid. Holmgren. Knocks him on his ass. They go to
The review.
let's go to the review. No, this was not flagrant. It was a basketball play. What? That's like saying the Marchand didn't take him down. Oh, it's screwed up. Come on, we know Marchand. Anyways, so they keep that basket there. OKC finds a way to get the lead again, but suddenly it's a 1-point game and the ball's in Curry's hands. Do you know anything about goaltending in basketball, guys?
Yeah.
When you touch the rim.
Yeah, touch the rim. When you stop the ball from going in to the net, like
No, but if the ball's in the air and you
Yes.
do anything to the rim,
yes,
It
it's
is over.
goaltend. Yeah.
So I think it was 6 Golden State guys touched the goddamn rim. They
Yes.
go to the review and they come back and they say, no goaltending.
Yes.
Guys, I had it on the tape. I rewound it. I forget who it was. I think it was Reggie Miller, who was ever on the broadcast, said, I've been on TV for 30 years. I've never seen that call. How do you blow that in a review? Okay, so the only thing worse than that review is, did you see the floors they're playing on? In this, oh my God. Is this like Lego?
I think I know what they're going for, kind of like the Mecca in Milwaukee, that kind of thing. But this is it's too much.
In any event.
It's too bright and
and just the design on it.
Colors,
it looks like the Lego. They're making a Lego movie. And they put all those colors together and they put them on the floor and it just looks goddamn awful. So, here at the house that happens, we just want to say this.
Nothing against Lego, by the way.
Was that?
Nothing against the good name of Lego.
No, not that. It's not
I don't know.
Legos,
I don't like any of those Lego movie things.
Oh,
I
but
like the
that's
old
for the
toys.
kids.
Lego's the greatest toy of all time.
Ever.
Put
The
that-
movie, the toys are good.
I'm
The
just
toys
saying,
are
and
I
I
like
don't
the
even
Lego
mind.
movie too,
I was
but-
just going to say, I don't mind the Lego movie, but it's designed for a certain way. It's going that way. Like some things don't look good. Like I don't know if I've ever looked good in bra and panties. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to wear them. You know what I mean? So sometimes when you try to fit something on something else, it don't work. And it just seems to me that too many outside sources have now collaborated with the gift of gambling to totally coerce certain things I'm seeing on the floor and I'm getting kind of nervous because it's going to affect what we love the best, which is the highest level of competition. And on that note, is there anything else you'd like to say, Andrew?
I think that's just about it. Thank you, Peter, for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Again.
Okay, so
I managed to say something to piss off both you guys.
Well, that's not really the object of the
I'm
game.
sorry,
It should be your objective.
I'm a fiery
view.
Italian guy, so that doesn't take that much.
There you go. I just think that
Sorry,
it is that's all part of the game. I'm just saying the objective is to bring the smartest, brightest, most backed argument that you could possibly bring in. So I'm going to tell you this. Your NFL game was weak. And on that note, Peter, thank you for coming in.
Thank you
Serge,
for
give
having
a
me,
shout
guys.
out,
Thank you,
okay?
guys. Hey, Serge.
We're going to end the show this way. Pete, if you could hold it down for 1 second. We did a big shout out to Shoeys. But we want to say this. We're dedicating this show
It's
to a
Remembrance Day.
man, Remembrance Day, one of the greatest Canadians of all time, who has still not have gotten his
Order of Canada
yet. He was run out of town by a frickin' backstabbing frickin' guy that's still on TV
Scumbags
today
at Rogers.
because we wear poppies and we remember the soldiers. So this show is dedicated to the one and only Don Cherry.
Shout out Grapes.
Shout out Grapes. We're still with
I
you.
used to love his show, The Grapevine.
Thank you. On this note, once again, we ran a little late. I hope the content was good. Hi, but my name is Cruz.
And I'm Andrew Milani.
And what do? We keep the vibe alive.
You can find The House That Happens on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Samsung, Podchaser, Boomplay, YouTube, and SoundCloud. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at The House That Happens, and follow us on Twitter at House Happens. You can also shoot us an email at thehousethathappens@gmail.com.